Going live, going live, going live, and I'm live. Hello, folks. Hello, Ron. What's going on? Where were we at? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, potential recruits. Follow the Freedom Trail. We're not doing that. Not doing that right now. Oh, yeah, right. Okay, that's right. We had a bunch of settler quests. Hello, folks. Can you guys hear me all right? We're doing any of these? Maybe we'll do West Everett, since we're just kind of perusing old content. I'm good. Awesome. Galactic King Gath. Yeah, I've got the Starfield bug after watching all their trailers and stuff. It looks freaking sick. Non-Persona 1. What modding ideas of Starfield gameplay trailer given you? Oh my god, so many. One of the ideas. Okay, I think I've told you guys that I don't like the idea of putting my voice in Fallout, because I'm like too much a part of the community. Like, you know, you guys hear me for so many videos for making the mod patch notes videos and everything like that. But Starfield, I kind of want to do something crazy and like voice 100,000 lines and be like, I'm gonna be a player. I want to put my voice in as a player voice for Starfield. Kind of want to do that. I don't think I have the acting chops though, so it probably wouldn't be very good. But like, I like the idea of doing a player voice for a game that doesn't have one. Not necessarily me, but like doing the mod for it. But I couldn't fathom asking anyone to put in that kind of work, because it would be so many hours of recording. So I'll just do it myself. I can get a decent recording setup. So that was one. But I mean, it's hard to get into game modding ideas until you see what's already there, because like they covered their bases. There's a lot of stuff happening in there. The thing that I think pushed me over the edge of Starfield when I saw the trailers, that was like, where I was like, okay, whatever, and then building your own ship. Yes, like ding ding ding, and then like being able to crew it with your own people. Oh, that's so sick. It's gonna be like a flying HQ. Like you get to have a ship that's your HQ with your staff. You get research projects. Oh, dream come true. Sergio Salas, thank you for the donation. Obviously, we will talk plenty of Starfield. In fact, I could see that dominating our conversation later on. Right now, I'm going to do my usual thing of bounce around settlements and seeing if anything needs my attention while we wait for 9 o'clock to get going. Into Sanctuary we go. But yeah, I mean, the obvious things that come to mind for Starfield without even knowing exactly what's in it are going to be like, well, they're 100% that 1,000 planets they advertise is going to be a lot of procedural generation. So there's obviously tons of room to add stuff. I also have high hopes that they finally have some sort of like database system in the engine to handle that much information, like that their janky actor value system that we have to use for some settlements that they will have that won't be necessary anymore. What? Oh, that's the swing. I was like, what thing is going all crazy over here? The swing's physics were going all nutty. So yeah, so I'm very excited to see the engine improvements too. Ship settlements. Modern 42. I backtoward into GNN and Codsworth killed Captain West before I realized who he was. Curious how both things will get now that I back to Concord and Earthworm Paul yells Raiders. That should be fine, because I don't think we actually hijack the cell until after where there's smoke. So you probably just killed the vanilla Captain West. You didn't kill our version. We actually have our own copy of him. And I think once you complete where there's smoke to where you're actually engaging with gunner content in our quest, then we do the swap and we bring in our Captain West. So we always just pretend it's like you know, you could headcanon it however you want, that the vanilla Captain West is a synth, maybe he's a body double, whatever you want to do, whatever makes it work for you. Totally forgot what I was going to do. Oh yeah, just going to check on happiness 100. Yes. All right, power forever our bane. Although we have 300, so I'm guessing the actual issue here isn't that we're necessarily short on power. We might just need to wire some stuff better. Let's see here. Let's store you, store you, store you. See what happens if I rewire. Yeah, that did it. So like some of these are probably just from... Some of these probably were I never fixed during when I had my grid corruption a while back. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it literally legitimately just doesn't have enough power. Oh man, look at that. 230 power from the municipal. That's fantastic. Okay, now that's lit. Alright, where else are we missing power? I guess I should take advantage of some of the tools we have here. Instead of spending so much time thinking around, let's go in and use, where is it? City manager tools. ASAM tracking. Unpowered. Let's see if this thing's still working. Also, I just heard a radio. Is that coming from... Oh, it's from behind me. Close menu.
Yeah?
Off radio. Look at all these unpowered objects. Holy cow. Oh, the beacon's unpowered? That's shocking. Yes, it is. Alright. There we go. Oh, that's powered. You are unpowered? That seems... Oh, well, you don't even have anyone working you, so that's fine. Let's see here. Do I need to rewire this place again? I don't want to risk the auto rewiring from Workshop Framework because I know this settlement has gone through hell and back, and it's pretty... It's kind of unstable right now, so I don't want to bother risking that, but... I also don't want to go through here and manually wire everything, so... I think I might have to wait till off camera, and then I'll fix up Sanctuary. I'll try running the full reset tool. But I've already had enough issues with this place that I don't trust it, so... We're gonna leave it with 100 happiness. That makes me feel good. Worst case scenario. Oh, I guess we can untrack all that. Worst case scenario, we know at least things can level up, which is good. All right, we'll go check Todd Pines. Why not? We got time for check one more. Quester WI. Well, good luck with mods for Starfield. My PC is not at the base of Starfield. Yeah, I'm not talking making mods for Starfield. I'm talking about how, like, just it looks like a cool game. I'm just excited about it. I am not usually the type to jump in and make mods right away. I don't like working with like bad tools. So like when 76 came out, I'd made one mod for it. That was one I wanted because it was something about the game that was irritating me. So I figured out how to do one thing, and that was it. And that's the kind of, if I make any Starfield mods, it'll be like that. Like I'm playing the game, stuff irritates me, and I'm just gonna like make myself a patch or whatever, and then I'll probably release them now that I've just gotten used to releasing mods. Whereas it used to be when I would do stuff like that for games, I would just keep them to myself. But yeah, I'm not planning on suddenly abandoning Fallout when Starfield comes out. I think most of you guys will, though. And then that'll lead to me abandoning ship, too, because won't have anybody left to make mods for. At least for a while. I mean, whenever a new Bethesda game comes out, it's hard not to get just sucked right in for many an hour. Alright, how are we at? What are we doing here? Let's see. We're short on defense, which is okay, because I have a solution to that coming. Happiness good, jobs are good, homes are good. Okay, great. Oh, and it's 9 o'clock. Perfect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So if you are new to the stream, a couple things I want to mention. So I am bad at paying attention to things. You guys will see me. I will distract myself. We'll chase random things. I'll forget what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll keep it entertaining along the way. We'll talk about development stuff as I come across it and whatnot. But that means I'm really bad at paying attention to chat. So your best bet to get my attention is to @KingGath with any of your messages. And once we get about halfway through the stream time, or about 10:30 or something, then I kind of reverse course and give up on the game and instead pay attention to you guys. So that'll be a good time for you guys to poke me with all your questions. We'll hang out and talk. I definitely want to talk about Starfield a lot. Might even pull up the trailers and kind of skim through them and show you guys stuff and talk about it. If you guys are excited to talk about that later. Otherwise, we can talk about some settlements Fallout 4 too. I'm totally on board for that. But right now we are in the midst of going through all of the side characters in SS2 because I've been in the quest line. So the Let's Play, the goal was to play through chapter 1 and chapter 2, and we're now at the point where we're in the last couple of quests in HQ for Chapter 2, and we have been for a few weeks, but I'm delaying them because I am in the process of finishing up a massive HQ update that's we're hoping to release before the end of the month, and I would like to save my playthrough to actually show off all the stuff. It'll be a great way to, you know, we'll do the big patch note video showing off some of the new features, but then showing you guys how it all works in a actual playthrough I think will be huge, so I've been saving my HQ time for that. Also a little worried that because I have beta code, if I go to HQ, I'm going to cause problems. So I've just been kind of staying away from there while I'm operating in these beta builds. So last week, rather, we were working on Ron recruitment, and we ran into an issue where we thought it double recruited or double hit Frenchie Jr. as our recruit. What actually happened is Frenchie Jr. just hadn't finished transitioning to the settlement, so he was still in the tracking. But I found out earlier today when I was going to prep my game and make sure I was ready for today that there's another person being tracked. So it did work. Ron's thing isn't completely broken. But I did go through a couple of nights ago and fix all of the stat indexes. So it turned out the reason that Ron gives you random people seemingly is not only some of them were wrong because we changed a lot of people's stats in the big summer update last year, or was it summer? Whenever we did the big rebalance patch, we did a lot of fixing of the special stats. We wanted to make sure they better matched the characters and that they were balanced from the perspective of the easier it was to recruit the settler, the lower their stats, and the harder it was to recruit them, the higher their stats. And in that, we failed to update a lot of their tags for the RON system, but also we had done it for you programming guys who know what I'm talking about. We accidentally entered the numbers with a 0-based index, and the RON system used a 1-based. So everybody's recruitment stat was off by 1. So it probably has never worked correctly since SS2 came out because we used the wrong indexing. So that was really dumb. But it'll be fixed for the big patch. Mod 142. People really want to see how you go about fixing things. I would rather know that than seeing quests. I have done bug fix videos, and the amount of people, or the few number of people who actually watch them, says that is incorrect, Bot Hunter. Just Reds, you guys will probably make Fallout Providence Bay before Fallout 5. Yeah, Fallout 5 is going to be... Oh, there's Gremlin. Fantastic. Fallout 5 is... like a decade away now, which is really sad. Jason Lokrads, woot! Thank you for the donation, as always. Gremlin, let's go.
Ooh, hey there, have we met? I'm Gremlin, or that's what everybody calls me. The followers said I should get a more normal name, and Curtis suggested Gamma. But I've been Gremlin for so long that it's the name I think when I think of me in my head. And one of the guys at the fort was named Arcade. And I mean, how normal a name is... Sorry, I'm rambling.
You're also really obsessed with our little I don't even remember what that was. Oh, well, now it's a memory lounger. Just upgraded right in front of us.
Who are you? What are you doing out here?
Sorry. I had trouble slowing down even when Julie had me off chems. Only had withdrawal, so I was kind of way more on edge all the time. Anyway, my name's Gremlin. I joined the Followers of the Apocalypse. That's a group that tries to use old world knowledge to help people. I don't think they've made it this far east. Where was I? Right. So, full disclosure, I used to be a raider. The Followers helped me get an education and turn my life around. Only I didn't fit in with the Followers. Couldn't really kick the chems, unhealthy obsession with guns and explosives.
Mod fixing live versus VOD is a huge difference. Yeah, I think, well, the difference would be there'd be a lot more rambling and me just, like, trying to find my way through stuff. I think my biggest concern with doing live mod fixing is... I mean, you guys know I haven't done face reveal or anything. I try to keep my personal stuff separated. Otherwise, other than, you know, the few stories I tell you guys about my family. So I would be concerned that with my full computer exposed, I'd accidentally reveal a lot of personal information that I'd rather not. So that would be probably my number one reason to not do any mod fixing live, even though I wouldn't do it during this stream, because this stream I advertise is not that, but I'm not necessarily opposed to doing it like as its own little stream, just like one day, like, hey, let me show you guys what I work on. But my big concern would be too many personal things on my computer, my desktop, or my files where I'm searching around where I accidentally reveal stuff I don't want to.
Is the situation that bad?
Oh, no way. I didn't mean to make it sound like I'm just some junkie. Jeez. Stupid stupid. Sorry. I'm an, I guess you could call it an electrical engineer? Even before I joined the followers, I used to maintain laser weapons for the fiends. That's, the Raider King I kind of got raised into. Long story, don't ask.
Oscar Price in Starfield has been announced. Does that mean that SS2 is getting a Chapter 4 where we turn Nuka World into a Kennedy Space Center to travel to Mars and fight the Enclave? It does not. If anything, it just means that Chapter 3 will get a little more polish, because we don't, you know, like, while I'm still pushing for us to get this out before the original Starfield release date, you know, it's not the end of the world now if we miss it, because there will still be some time. But I have said to the team and to you guys that I would rather us still release on our proposed schedule, and then you guys just have more time to dig into all the content before Starfield comes out and sucks a lot of you away.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Send Gremlin 2. Where's our super settler settlement? Sunshine. Starfield Sim Settlements. Just reads. It's Sim Starfield. It's gotta be. It's gotta be Sim something. Sim Planet doesn't have the same ring to it. I feel it's gotta have the double S.
Coming in.
That's what feels good. Okay, so wait, so I just send her. Oh, I think with Gremlin you recruit her and then you get a quest a little later. It's like, I know she has a quest. So let's head back to the Ron. What's my cap situation? Am I totally broke? Oh yeah, that's right. We were gonna start robbing our settlements. See if they've got caps on them. And whatever else they got that we can sell. We can sell purified water. You got no caps, guys. Hey, there's a Mark 1 beacon here, though. And now I'm full. Guess we got to sell some garbage. What is taking up all this weight? Not junk. It's going to be probably random weapons. Oh, I think I was talking about selling weapons, and then I failed to actually do that. So, what are we going to drop here? Well, let's see. I think I have a pipe rifle. That thing's probably heavy and not very valuable. Let's see. 17.2 for that. Holy cow, that's heavy. 7.8. That'll make up the difference. Perfect. All right, off to Diamond City again, and we'll sell off some garbage and hopefully make enough caps to do some more round crew, because I only got enough for one more guy. Uh-oh, we got Spam Bot. Oh, and it looks like Raybo is on the ball. Thank you, sir. John Caddy's, I ran into a rather unusual dialogue box during current session. It said I had over 1024 powered objects in the settlement. It said to ask you to increase the limit. Do you think you really have that many, or do you think it was like a false positive?
Keep looking at me like that. I'm gonna start thinking yours.
24-hour service. We're so delighted you've chosen us for your shopping needs. We buy and sell everything.
Oh, Star Settlements. I like that name. Guardian. One of the problems I keep waiting for EA to send me a cease and desist for using Sim anything, but they haven't yet, so which is shocking.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
The highest quality available.
All right, what do we got here? Let's see. You can take this off my hand. Oh, you don't have many caps, but I can at least get rid of these things I'm not using. Make sure I don't sell the wrong one. Yeah, you can have a grenade, why not? Oh wait, he doesn't have enough. Alright, we'll take that back. What can I sell you that's a little cheaper? Well, I don't think I'm going to wear these fingerless leather gloves. You can have that. I was going to wear a CPD uniform, but we're done with that quest line, so... And then whatever this is... Okay, yep, you can have it for a little extra. Bonus for you, Percy. All right, well, in the morning, we'll be able to get some more caps. I think now that gives me, I'm over 1,000 now, so I got 2 more recruits ready to go. And I think once we do, just a little more time passes, we will get access to Gremlin's next quest. I believe it's one where it just pops up and tells you to go back to her, so. Because that one I've been waiting for. I want to get the upgrade. I want to get Advanced Martial, and actually, I think I already have Advanced Martial, so I think hers is less exciting. It's Advanced Power I've been trying to get for a long time. I should go set up some more Advanced Martial. I forgot that I've got those through CPD.
Hello there. Did it just get cooler in here?
Excuse me.
You won't find a more comprehensive depository of information in the Commonwealth.
Find new settler.
Where I can find someone?
Looking for talent, are we? What kind of attributes you in the market for?
I'm looking for someone.
All right, let's see if the...
Strong.
Sorry, but the
I don't know if I installed the
Excuse me.
patch where I
A
fixed all
little
those
knowledge
stats,
can be a
but...
profitable thing.
So we're going to, just in case I did, we're going to just test them all one more time.
Find someone?
Looking for talent, are we? What kind of attributes you in the market for?
I'm looking for someone.
We'll go perception.
Twice.
Say no
There we
more.
go.
This is who you're looking
Yeah, I think I have the patch installed
back
done, because
again.
last time I think we made it all the way down to charisma and endurance before we were finding anybody. All right, well, who is it tracking for us now? Let's see. Back in Sanctuary. All right. Oh, yep. I keep forgetting we can't fast travel out of there. El Trulo S, have you ever met Cowd Howard? I have not. I have not met him. I don't remember if I was joking about it during my podcast or talking to all of you guys on a stream or something, but I used to joke to other people when I talked to them that I was going to keep podcasting until I got Todd Howard to come on, and then I'd retire. And then I'd ran out of time to do podcasting. Oh, John, you're legitimately hitting 1,024 objects. All right, I can add sport for more. It's not that hard. It was just like I put that in there because I'm like, no one's gonna pass 1,000 powered items. But yeah, it's one of those things like I can go pretty much infinitely deep on it. So I guess I'll let me write myself a note. I'll just double it. I'll give you 2048. We'll see if you top that out. Increase powered item arrays. Okay, got it on my list.
Hi,
Oh,
my name's
it's Carl.
Heard you were building up some industry around here. Looks like it's true.
Indeed. Can't you hear all the hammering?
Maybe. Why do you ask?
As I mentioned, my name is Carl Mead. I've been working on an idea that'd benefit the Commonwealth. I've got a problem, though, and I need some help. This idea I have requires some resources I don't have right now. But if we could work together, we'd manage something that'd change the world. See, I've developed a method that'll domesticate feral ghouls. Just think of all the lives we could save. All those poor little feral ghouls.
You are one grimy dude.
Of course, the lives of the folks they'd normally attack.
Is everyone in the Commonwealth so goddamn crazy?
A little bit, yeah. But my method works. Please just listen. Hear me out. First, I'll need a place to set up. Perhaps a space to set up a little clinic I can work out of. Go ahead and take this syringer. And here's some fancy tranquilizer darts so you don't kill the poor things. Once you find a feral ghoul, put it to sleep. Those darts have little trackers on them so we can come find them, and you're not left heaving a body over your shoulder and trekking it halfway across the Commonwealth. I'll prep things in the meantime. Hopefully, by the time you get back, I'll have everything working, and the feral ghoul will have been brought in. That's when the fun begins.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Great. Just not too much fun, okay? I know some of you young folks think killing ferals is fun. Don't.
I remember developing this quest with somebody because they had it way more ambitious than we ended up doing, because they like had all these ideas for custom animations and stuff, which back when we were doing this is like one of the first characters that we were doing back when this was still when SS2's recruitable sellers were still gonna be part of Rise of the Commonwealth. And I remember with this guy, this was before we had anybody on the team who knew any animation or anything, and we were gonna do like this custom ghoul transformation chair with animations, and it was like nobody could figure it out, and ended up getting pared way down. But there's a funny thing we did with the ghoul anyway. Let's see. Yep, off to Sunshine you go with everybody else. Help. Oh yeah, okay, so I need to go to Sunshine and build a clinic for Carl. All right, let's go do that.
This place could use a little work.
Knight Zyphos, what is one mod you'll want to see created for Starfield a few months after release? Probably like an anti-bullet sponge mod. I get the feeling, just like every Bethesda game, they're gonna get to a point where it's like the enemies start feeling like you gotta dump a whole clip into each of them, and that gets really repetitive, especially if they go their usual route of making, you know, stealth sniper a super viable build. Then, you know, that feels real bad when you get the drop on people and then it does nothing because their bullet just takes 6, or their head takes 6 bullets before they pop. That's the only I can think of. But it's hard. It's really hard to like consider mods when we don't even know all the features yet. I just said the big feature set they touted is pretty awesome so far.
I wouldn't be a good superhero.
Hey, you're back.
But being a super sidekick doesn't seem too bad.
You're gonna be Audra's sidekick? All
Any
right.
new stories?
No, thank you though.
Glad to be able to give clear solutions for a change without people looking at me like I'm crazy.
All right, let's see here. So a couple things. Let's see. What's our, while we're here waiting for Carl, we'll see what our situation is with everything. Oh yeah, we definitely need defense. So I keep forgetting that. Oh man, we need some beds. We can do advanced marshal because I've already got that unlocked, and because we're using city plan settlements, they are set to not follow the rules effectively. So I can basically get away with assigning anybody to them. I don't have to worry about their stats, which is nice for the sake of the stream and not wasting a lot of your guys' time with trying to corral guys into training plots. All right, let's build a couple more residential while we're here. There you go, nice and haphazard. Hey, little Cola. Oh, that's way out of the border. That's not a good idea. Let's see. How about... No, we'll do an interior outside here. Get us some floors. That, and oop, I want... Yeah, these little guys. Oops, I put it right in front of the stairs. That was dumb. How about... Just build like we mean it. There we go. Come on, snap in there. There you go. And back to sim. Residential. Come on. The snap points on interior are so infuriating. Even for me, guys. I will say it over and over again. I hate interior plots. I know you guys love them. I hate them. It's like you're forced to choose when making like snappable items of making them flexible or making them enjoyable to use. So we went with super flexible on these, and oh, you know what? I bet I need to turn off. Oh, there it was just where I wanted it for just a second there. Come on. Oh, it was there for a second. Too many snap points. There it is. There we go. That's as good as you guys are getting. All right, let's give him a little roof. And we'll give him one of these guys. Beautiful. Totally structurally sound. Never mind that those things have no support beams. That's okay. All right, who else needs a bed? So that was 2 more. Need a couple more. Oh, James Cullen, thank you for the donation. What's your opinion of the Triangle of Death formed by Sanctuary, Red Rock, and Abernathy Farm when intensive builds or plans are used? I recommend, unless you're running a pretty good computer, like I could probably get away with it on here, but even I don't like to risk it. I would say you should just pick one of those 3 and just build that. If you are on an Xbox, 100% do that. But probably the newer Xboxes, like the Series X and S, you could probably get away with 2 of them. I would definitely never build more than 2 on maybe if you've got like a real high-end system, you could get away with it. But it doesn't seem worth the risk, because like, what do you end up with a crash zone where you can't access 3 major settlements? Like that seems like a bad idea. So I would recommend, for most people, pick one. For everybody else, if you've got a decent system, go with 2 of them and leave 1 of them unbuilt. That is what I would recommend. Okay, all right, we'll let that build. Let's go find one of our Marshall and upgrade it. We'll do this front one over here. See if that solves our defense issues. Oh man, we need more jobs too. I keep forgetting, you know, I'm going to all this trouble building this place up, and it actually, I'm going to be raiding this place of people in a couple of weeks. Choose a building plan. Advanced defenses. Kaboom. Pay and build. Oh man, our resources are doing fantastic. Alright, so we need some commercial plots. Let's see here. Or we need a commercial plot for Carl too while we're doing all this building and organizing. We'll put him... he can go right in the middle of this field looking thing over here. Because there's a gap in the bushes. The rare gap. Z Ormer, thank you for the donation. Thank you for all your hard work. Hopefully Starfield will be transformed by your mods. I mean, hopefully I don't need to. Hopefully I don't even need to do anything. Hopefully Starfield is just so freaking wonderful out of the box. It doesn't need us to do much. I mean, there will 100% be like the unofficial Starfield patch we will all need. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if, because like based on the scale of everything they're showing with just how many systems there are in that game, and how many planets, we're probably going to need like multiple teams attacking, or the unofficial patch team is going to have to expand dramatically to handle all the work. But yeah, I get what the heck? Oh, poor Jason Martin. He's so sick. And he doesn't have a house. He's curled up in a ball in a little fetal position. Hey, buddy.
Place I could defend.
Place you could defend. Why? Okay, I feel so bad for you, and then you ruined it by talking with a normal voice. I'm surprised that this lets them speak. Poor guy. Disease cure removed. Did it work?
Hi there.
It did. We had a cure for his disease. Although apparently, Neher, if you happen to be watching this, it looks like the stand up from that and from the fetal position animation does not work.
Hey, it's good to see you.
All right, let's see. Let's get back into workshop mode. Okay, now we got 19 beds. That's awesome. Where did our meters go? That's concerning. Oh, I bet it's because we walked into the dead zone over there of Sunshine. It's one of the there's like a dead spot in Sunshine, and it got worse in my save because there used to be a bug in the city plan that I use where it would delete one chunk of the build zone in Sunshine Tidings, which has since been fixed, but the damage was done in my save.
Got work to do. Can't talk now.
The heathen soul can only be made clean.
I'm just reading back through old chat now while we're waiting here for my stuff to fix itself. There it goes. And I see I think you just jinxed yourself with EA. Yeah, maybe. Although I will say there will be some great publicity for the mod if we get sued by EA, because that, you know, all the gaming magazines will cover that for sure. Or gaming websites, I should say. Magazines. I haven't been gaming. When's the last time any of you read a magazine? Like a physical magazine in your hand? What do I think about the ship crafting in Starfield? I think that's going to be like one of the best features. There's like all these different space games, and as far as I know, none of them have that. And it reminded me of the gummy ship construction in Kingdom Hearts, which was like pretty pointless and there's Carl, and super easy. Like it didn't have a whole lot of like gameplay purpose in Kingdom Hearts, and it was kind of like just like this extra kind of unnecessary gameplay system, but it was so fun to do. And so then taking that and doing it in a Bethesda game, oh, that's amazing. That's so freaking awesome. All right, does anybody remember what the hotkey is to turn off auto exit? Oh, there it is. It's F5. Okay. Yeah, every time I walk into that dead zone over there, my meters go all kooky. All right, why is this thing not building? Why is this not building? What's going on here? What is your status, buddy? Unoccupied. Oh, there it goes. It was just a little delayed. Dr. Goodfiles leaves after you take control of Sunshine unless you use mods. However, you can assign us to a supply line before that happens. Oh, that's interesting. If they send you a cease and desist letter for the name Sim, just send them a cease and desist letter on the ground of making garbage games. I remember reading something about because I remember I had to go look this up before I named it Sim Settlements, because I'm just like, well, I don't want to get attacked immediately. And I think that they tried to copyright the phrase Sim and they weren't allowed to, but still, like, even our logo, the original logo, not the new one we're using, but the original logo was kind of reminiscent of, has some SimCity vibes, which was intentional. Like, we were like, well, we want to have people connect the dots, make this think SimCity in that, because, you know, when you're making a mod, and you're trying to market it, you're just trying to draw parallels so people can get an instant desire to download. And now we've started to shift away. Now, like, our logo, like, we always will have like little elements of the original logo because it's branding, but we did a lot of talk about with the new logo of like moving toward other things and slowly shifting our way. Like, we ended up on the radio beacon as a key element that we don't want to lose, so that we have something that's ours. Because we also have the vault gear, which is kind of, you know, that's like Bethesda TM. So like we're just like stealing a whole bunch of logo chunks that we need to break ourselves free from, which will take a while, I think. Unlocked furniture store to get a recognizable logo that still makes you think
Hold on.
Sim Settlements, but doesn't have all these elements from other game franchises.
Hey there. I was just tinkering with my setup here. Did you find some nice ferals yet? Or is there something else I can do for you?
Thanks. More ammo is always useful, I guess.
You already need more tranquilizer darts?
Let's see if I fix this. I heard this was a bug for a while.
I've got a limited amount of resources to make them, so use sparingly, okay?
Awesome. All right, let's go track down a feral. So that would be, I guess Lexington has a lot of ferals. Let's go over there. Off we go. So who you see Fried Turkey, the FO3 remake lead, works in 76 now. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, good for him. Like, yeah, I knew he lived pretty close to there, so I assumed he was going to go apply there. That's pretty awesome. He's that dude is prolific. Like, the amount of content he creates is nuts, especially for how he's super young and just creates more content than almost anyone I know. So like, he definitely had it. He's definitely got the chops to work for a game studio for sure. Uh-oh. There's our guys. All right, forgot to equip this. Nope, I did not mean to take off my gear. All right, and then how do we make this thing work? There it is. All right, let's see if I can pop you all. Oh, that's slow. That's slow. Got one. Let's see if he goes to sleep, if this is working or not. Missed. Yep, the first one went down. We'll just pop them all. 2 down. 3 down. Oof. Sleep. Sleep. Perfect. I'll see which one he grabs. Alright, now are we out of combat? The music says no. There we go. Alright, off we go. Report back to Colmead. Okay, it's still saying we can't fast travel. How about now? No, not Abernathy. There we go. Can't fast travel. Okay, well, then I guess we're walking. Not that way. Okay, we want to go straight west. Quester WI cannot find the plot for Lupe's quarters in HQ. Is it possible to refresh all the HQ plots like refreshing city plan at city managers' desks? There's not a refresh all, but her room only works in... There's 2 spots you can build her quarters in. So like if you go to the comma ray room, like you're facing the comma ray room, like facing those double doors, and you go to your left. It's those two rooms off to the left are the only spots that that her quarters will fit in. From as far as I know, and of course I immediately started going not west. As far as I know, though, the controls on the room control thing for changing rooms are super janky and don't work very well. That's going to be fixed for the HQ 2.0 patch. I'm going through all the menus again and making sure that everything works as it's supposed to, because there's been some patches where they've worked, and then the next patch they get broken because of the nature of code. Fix 99 bugs on the wall, take one down, patch it out. 102 bugs on the wall. I guess bugs in the code, not on the wall. I'm getting my beers on the wall mixed in there. Mod Hunter 42 can use feral cages for this quest. I don't believe so, no. I could probably do that now, like I know enough to where I could cut that. Oh, that looks like car hinge. Let's not go poke the bear. But I think at the time I had no idea how to tap into the DLC like that without
You here to trade, boy?
Oh, you got some gunner guards, huh?
Who are you? What are you doing out here?
Name's Dreth. That's all you need to know. Now, you here for business? I ain't got all night.
Hey, check out Gremlin, awesome. I swear I feel like I've never seen a random encounter in this game. The only one I remember vividly, the two I remember all the time are Fake Preston and the dude who sells you dogs, who we saw last stream, and I totally missed talking to him. I can't remember his name, but...
You a trader?
The guy who offers to sell you a dog, and then if you say yes, he's like, well, maybe. He's just not sure he actually wants to sell.
You gonna buy something?
I thought I hit trade.
I'll take a look, sure.
Take a look.
All right, let us sell some more crap. What do we got here? No, we want all our weapons. You can have that and that. Oh, I got random ammo for you. Oh yeah, we do. Not much, but something. Oh man, I guess I've been on the ball about selling off my ammo. I guess I'm not really using 308 now. I've switched over to 50 cal. So I can switch that, and let's see, do you have any 50 cal I can take? Because I'm not doing great here. Oh man, I still need to take more from you. I guess I will take back those and those. I gotta take back a lot. Alright. I need to take back 231. Oh. Come on. It'd be nice if there was a type-in interface for this. 230... 230? That's fine. You can have one free cap. You're welcome. Thanks, Dreth. Had no idea who you were. I do kind of want to shoot your guards, though. Hey, buddy. Well, I mean, if we're going to do it. Bye!
Let's rock!
Sorry, you sided with the gunners. You're fine. You can run away. Oh, now you can't. I had no beef with you. Thank you for the loot. How about you? Oh, he's got a teddy bear. I can give that to Dogmeat. Hey, and she had jet. Fantastic. All right, now maybe we can fast travel the 40 feet. Oh my god, my chat just jumped again. I am all kinds of lost. I think I'm just going to have to give up on trying to get old chat. The war is lost. Is you guys, is there a real bad frame drop right now? I see Tony said, what is up with the stuttering? Like, it feels pretty smooth for me, but I can never account for OBS and YouTube lagginess. I was a little worried I was going to have FPS issues because I recently reset my graphics settings on Fallout 4, and I don't think my game can fully handle Ultra. Oh, that's a terrible looking cable. Right through the middle of the garage like that. Alright, what do we got here? Report back to Carl Mead. Why is that not... Oh, it's not tracked. Okay. Here he is over here. It just looks stuttery. Oda's a bit... Slight stutter, not terrible. Seems normal to me. Okay.
These kids today are so soft. They think they're too good to sleep on the floor.
I just wanted to talk to you. Hold on.
Something else.
I'll be back.
One of these days I'm going to figure out how... Oh, actually, I think we already did come up with a solution in team meetings about how to fix this HQ recruitment dialogue, because I recognize it's kind of irritating to always have to hit something else and do it again. We have a solution for it, but it probably won't come until the 3.0 patch.
I've got that sample you wanted.
Yes, I've already got her in the chair and restrained so I can start the treatment. I'll get started right away.
How does it work?
Well, first I hook the feral in. Pump its brain full of a chemical cocktail. Stuff like buff out, medic, stim packs, etc.
Gene will be back with his dogs. That's great to hear. Yeah, I think you guys told me that last week too. I'm gonna buy all the dogs. Z games, so Sim Colonies win. Sim Colonies is good. I think so far we've discussed Sim Starfield, Star Settlements. Sim Colonies is a cool name too.
Didn't react great to my assistant, though. Rest in peace, Robert.
Rest in peace.
That was a fluke, though. I'm sure with some more tweaks to the process, I can teach them to distinguish friend from foe. Really, that's about the whole process. I find it usually takes about 5 days before things really settle in. So come back at around that time. If it worked right, you'll have a domestic...
My hope is that Bethesda already did some of the stuff that we did with some settlements, which like make the outposts in space kind of self-sufficient, like to let the NPCs you put there in charge of them build stuff. And there we go. Carl Mead, voiced by Big Cow Feet. Character written by Laughing Otter and Danger. All right, we're gonna see if Carl Mead wanders off, because he actually... If it's set up correctly, it depends on the nav mesh of the settlement, whether it works. Let's see if we can find it. There's actually like a ghoul. Should be a ghoul strapped to a chair somewhere in here. Let's see if we can find it. Hey, buddy. Huh? Visiting armorsmith. Little Cola just sitting sad. Oh, there's the ghoul. There's some of the ghouls that we pacified. Hey, buddy. Where's your friend? Where's the one that's in the chair? Is that still a corpse from before? Yep. Oh, Dogmeat, I got a teddy bear for you. Come here, buddy.
Hey!
Come on, let's go.
It's time to go.
Alright, let's see here. Trade... Oh, wow, he's got a bunch of garbage I can sell, too. I'll take that stuff. Man, I really just gave him everything. Alright, cool. That'll be some free caps for us. Alright, where's your teddy bear, bud? Teddy bear is down here. There we go. Whoops, and I just accidentally took everything. Did I take your teddy bear, too? Sorry, buddy. I did not mean to click that button. Fortunately, it worked anyway. All right, let's give you back your bear, because that's very important. No, what's important is clearing out some space so I can actually walk. Hunting rifles. Almost there. You can have the syringer, too. I'm not going to use it. There you go. Come on. Where's the feral? On the chair. Tell me that worked.
Soon Adam will come. We will all be judged. And his punishment to the unworthy.
I wonder, actually, I don't know if I've ever tested it with shooting a bunch of them. Maybe I screwed it up by getting multiple and the game doesn't know how to handle it. Let's try during daylight. Let's do... Where's a chair or a bed I can sleep on? Not your bed. Yeah, this chair. Here we go. We'll wait till morning. Oh, no, I don't have to wait that long at all. Jim Simon, thank you for the donation. I vote for Sim Simon. Anywho, is there a way to move the Sim build menu to the first position? Not really, no. So the way we do to add items to the menu as we inject them, and natural injections get put to the back of the line. I guess in theory you could make a mod that just dropped in the Sim Settlements menu item to the front of the line, but we can't do that natively without vanilla edits, which I don't want to do. James Colleen, thank you for the donation. You could add player-built space stations that act as HQs for outposts of Starfield if you don't need to touch the outposts. Yeah, that's like there's a ton of cool stuff we could do. I'm just curious how much Bethesda already did. Like space outposts, like starports and stuff would be amazing. But maybe they already did that. Maybe that's going to be a built-in feature.
The heretic, the deceiver, the defiler. Only in Adam can you be saved.
Usually when I play through a Bethesda game, in particular, I've done it with a couple other games, but mostly Bethesda games. I think I did it with... I'm trying to remember. I think I do it... Oh, I've done it with MMOs too. Like I write notes for stuff I want to add to the UI. So when I go hunting for mods, usually when I play a Bethesda game, I take notes while I'm playing of like things that irritate me, and then that usually spawns a bunch of mod ideas. And either I find them in the community, or in the case of Fallout 4, people weren't creating the mods I wanted, so I just started doing it. And that is how Sim Settlements was born. I didn't want to spend so much time on building settlements, and instead I replaced all that time with building mods. Alright, well I'm not seeing our ghoul chair anywhere, so I think we're going to give up on searching for it. But if you find it, right after you finish the Carl quest, Carl will go over there and he'll start like sweet talking the ghoul. It's really funny. But I have no idea.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, what is this ghoul doing? What are you doing, buddy? Floating in the air, eating some garbage. Cool.
Huh?
I appreciate seeing the bar full of people. It's just, are they wearing the exact same clothes? That's kind of funny. Whoa, I just realized who's running the bar. That's not ideal there.
Okay.
All right, let's find Gremlin. Let's see here. Why am I not tracking? Maybe it's a miscellaneous quest here. Miscellaneous. Check out Gremlin. There it is. All right, she's in here.
Protect and serve.
Andrew Docker. He's sleeping in the day. Oh, he's probably too sick. That's probably why he's in bed. The sickness AI packages will make them, if they hit certain thresholds, they will lay down in a hospital, in their own bed, or in the cases you guys saw Jason Martin, if they don't have a bed, they'll just curl up on the ground. And apparently still talk to you, which was pretty jarring.
Hi there. Hold on. I'll be back.
Oh, hey, it's you. Cool. Got a minute to chat? Because I kind of want to ask you for a teeny tiny favor, and I promise you won't regret it.
What do you need me to do?
Yes. Okay. This is going to be great. Listen to this.
Hey, Geo Comics. It's been stuttery for the last few months ever since you had that power outage. Yeah, my equipment never recovered from that. That's why I had to give up on doing the capture card, because the computer I was going to use the capture card just barely works anymore. It really got hit hard. This one still functions for most of my uses.
Like they just announced a few days before.
I'm like kind of waiting for Nvidia to announce their 4000 series before I buy another computer. Not because I want to get a 4000 series, because I never like buying the latest ones. They're so expensive. But then the 3000 series will hopefully get down to reasonable prices.
So where do I come in?
Right. So from what I found out, it never actually went into production, but they were going to release it for Christmas, right? Meaning before Christmas. They had to have their promotional materials ready in advance, though, and Watts was real big on advertising the technical specs. They would have wanted to have their in-store technicians ready for the holiday, too. So that means that they would have sent out a package with info on the Sunscorcher to their stores, including technical specifications. And you're gonna find it for me, if it exists.
I'll see what I can do.
Awesome! Pretty sure this is a big
Not crazy. You could always use the function from the Vaultec DLC for people going to HQ. You put a special Pip-Boy on them.
Maybe check the rest of the store too. Electronic store.
Yeah? Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, that would be a way to do it. We actually,
Anyway, good luck.
we have need for a similar system for something else coming to the mod. for the not the Pip-Boy thing, but for alternate dialogue. So we're gonna tap into the same solution for that for both. So it'll be like a one single solution for both, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel twice. All right, let's see here. So we gotta go to get the Sunscorcher packet. All right. Oh, we haven't been here. Cool. Yeah, we'll go to the regional office because that's now controlled by the CPD. I wish Bethesda would have put a papyrus function to change the map markers. I would have had so much fun with that, like creating new map markers to, or even if it wasn't putting new ones, because like they added it to 76, and it's really fun to be able to like mark your camp with whatever marker. It'd be awesome to be able to take settlements and change the markers, or like in, you know, as CPD and Nightingales take over locations, to be able to put their symbol on the map. Yep. Looks like you guys got this. Yeah, might as well. What do we think? Who else is here? You guys seem to have this under control.
Please, surrender or we'll shoot you.
Or we'll shoot you. Oh, there they are. Hey, buddy. Give me that loot. Anybody else out here? There's so many officers. Oh, bottle cap. Sure. Okay, let's see. Where were we headed? Not here. This way. You guys got this covered. Darren H. Judging by the camera going aerial view, seems they took some feedback. I love that aerial view in the workshop mode. I wish we could have that for Fallout 4. I know how to do some of it, like the flying we've got. Oh, I see a Nightingale over there. Oh, that's the automatron start. Yeah, we're not ready to do that. Sorry. You're just gonna chill there and watch? You're gonna cure whoever's left behind? I kind of want to finish killing them just because that sound effect, the ding, 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 is almost more irritating than the hammers in Sanctuary. Oh. I just heard a grumpy raider. Well, he didn't find me. Oh, they didn't see me, so we're good. In we go. Whoops. That was weird that it dropped dog me right above a spot, so he couldn't even land on the ground. Oh, I guess these guys all come to life when you start doing the quest here. But I don't think we need to. Remote control, open sesame. That's it? Just gotta kill a rad roach? Deal. I don't mind if I do. Anything useful in here? I always use more fusion shells. No, not doing unlocking. Hey, I think I like all my ammo here. Oh, do we gotta play? Oh, there it is. I was like, what do we gotta play? Platformer here? Can we use Jake's laser magnum? Not currently. I could see it being something that we add as like an HQ project or something in the future, to be like, and research the plans for Jake's rifle or something, or Jake's weapon, and then make it available to you in some way. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We might just pop it in the weapon. We might pop it in the weapon store inventory one day. I know, like, we have plans to do a lot of opening up of things after the story's done, where it becomes, because like there are certain things where if we do them early, then it makes certain story moments weirder. So for example, if Jake can just buy another one of his pistols, then his dialogue about with Berman about getting his weapon back doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So like the fact that it's unique was important for that moment. So there's certain things like It's the same reason why we haven't done like brought back the some of the super weapons from Industrial Revolution here, is because we don't want to put stuff in the base mod that ends up being a solution to main quest problems where our story should acknowledge them. Granted, I'm sure there's already some mistakes we've made in that regard, but yeah, I could definitely see it being like something like his weapon. We eventually just make it available. For now, you could just add it to your inventory with console. It's set up. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh, I just heard. I heard Carl say it his lines. Anyway, you can. Where is Carl now? I just heard him saying that stuff. You can definitely add it to your inventory and use it. It should be flagged as usable by a player, and we tested it in first person and it worked. Oh, there's Carl. Okay, well there's the... Oh, there it is. It got all twisted. But anyway, when it works, the ghoul lays on the stretcher and Carl will sit there and talk to it.
Behave. Papa Carl will give you fancy cakes.
Silly ghoul. You're laying sideways.
It's really shaping up around here.
Can I ask you something? Hold on. I'll be back.
I'm curious if we still get stuff like we just had with Gremlin here. Look at, she's attached to this guy's arm, so when he takes a drink, she goes up in the air. I hope we still get stuff like that in Starfield, because it won't feel like a Bethesda game otherwise. I don't even understand how something like that could happen. Up she goes.
I just wanted to talk to you.
Something else.
I'll be back.
I really hope you've got some good news. I've been feeling pretty edgy.
Here you go.
Shit, for real?
Darren H, any plans to do a city plan contest with performance in mind, like limiting population 10 to 12, so consoles and low NPCs have a range of city plans? We already tell them to keep underneath a certain build limit, and that's pretty much as far as we take it. But the nature of the contest tends to be that people just want to go bigger and bigger, because most of you judge based on your snap judgment of like what looks the coolest. And so that kind of inspires people to just kind of go crazy. So I don't know that a low limit, I don't know that there's anything we could do to really enforce the limits, because like we do the best we can as enforcing limits as far as testing draw counts and everything, but people always find ways to cheese it in some way, so then it just becomes like a judgment call of like, oh, that person went way over the top, like clearly that's not valid. But the reason that we shipped SS2 with the single level city plans is because that's what we think people should be using for Xbox and low end. And there's at least one pack out there that does a similar thing of releasing single level plans, and I think that's kind of what you should be looking for if you're on a low end PC or on console, is single level plans, because the leveling up is just, it's very taxing on the system. Not only is it more items in your settlement, but just the load time of the or like the runtime of the scripts to transition over to a new level is pretty intense. So it's definitely recommended to stick to single level if you're on a pre-modern Series Xbox. Like if you're on Series X or S of the Xbox, I think it's more reasonable to use the leveled plans. But on the older Xbox, using the leveled plans is risky beyond level 1. I think by default, if you leave all the sim settlements options in place, like respect build limit and everything, you can get away with the settlements will go to level 1 and then usually will stop themselves unless you tell it to ignore the build limit. Alright, let's wait till morning and see if that's enough for Gremlin. Yeah, Mod Hunter have the death ray plans used and unlocked by the main quest completion, SS2 Gen and HQ quest. Yeah, well, I mean, we just wouldn't want to do, like, because the death ray thing is Helios 1. It was literally just, we ripped it straight from New Vegas, and yeah, we definitely don't want to do that for our story. But I could definitely see it being like some, after you beat the main quest, some new research project you get from HQ to get access to the plans, because the way you unlocked it in Industrial Revolution required a lot of Industrial Revolution stuff, which wouldn't work anymore. So we definitely will have to find a new way to add it as an unlock. All right, what are we waiting for here? Still waiting for Gremlin to finish a research. Okay, well we should still be able to do another Ron quest. I think we have, and it's daytime. Maybe we'll make it there daytime. We can actually sell all the garbage we have. James Conley, thank you for another donation. What do you think with the Wabbajack tool and how it automates the mod installation process for players newer to modding? I think Wabbajack and the one that Nex is working on are fantastic. I think those are going to be key to some of the next generation of players actually engaging in large amounts of mods. I think Bethesda's move to put mods in game was also key to that. Like, I think there's probably some of you guys watching who never would have modded if it wasn't in the base game for you to get access to it, where it's not as intimidating. Like, modding it has a stigma around it of being hard to do and janky and sometimes a little creepy, and so any tools to make it less intimidating, I'm all about them. I know there are concerns with it. Like, it definitely makes it so, especially for new mod authors, but I mean, even us, we are thinking about it all the time, with the fact that these the people who make the popular oh wow, I guess I'm almost out of frag grenades. The popular mod packs end up being kind of pseudo gatekeepers, which is kind of a bummer, and they get some of the credit that would normally go to the mod authors, not necessarily in the sense that like people think they made them, but they just don't know who made them. They just know that they got it because of the mod pack they installed, and that's why a lot of people were angry at Nexus, because they wanted Nexus to shut down Wabbajack's access, and they wanted to be able to opt their mods out. They didn't like this idea of somebody else kind of indirectly getting credit for their work.
Every piece in here is worth what I charge for it. No argument.
But I think the system is amazing, and
I've got a few minutes to browse.
Odds and ends.
I'm very, very pro mod pack for user friendliness, because like when I play, like I've been playing Skyrim here and there, like a couple hours a week. Just because I haven't played it in 5 years, and it's fun to even go through it vanilla right now. But once I get tired of vanilla and I want to mod it, I'm definitely gonna go grab a Wabbajack list. I don't have the time anymore to do a hand-built mod list. I mean, ask anybody here, somebody like Raybo, who's rocking hundreds of mods in Fallout, and it takes almost as much time to build a good mod load order as it does to actually play a full playthrough. And then it's rare you get to finish a playthrough because your game falls apart inevitably by some weird quirky bug. Whereas like one of the things I love about the Wabbajack in particular is that it takes care of all the little fiddly stuff, like the tweaking INIs and like making little individual decisions, so that you can take advantage of the experience that people who mod all the time, who like the guys who make those lists, they work on them for literal years, and so they'll have come up with patches or worked out solutions to some of those little kinks. And so being able to take advantage of that and get a great experience out of the box is amazing. Oh no, we've got another spam bot.
I'll take a look.
More bartering. Exciting, riveting gameplay we got going on here with all the with me trying to nickel and dime all these NPCs so that we can keep using the Ron. I could just cheat. I don't know why I'm not. I guess I enjoy the bartering. More garbage for you. Oh, that's what I was wondering what all that Hellhound stuff was. It was the boss's stuff. We had held on to it because I was thinking I might wear it, but I have since decided that's not gonna happen. I guess I'll take the hat back. The hat's kind of cool. I guess we're taking these we're gonna just never get rid of these rounds. We just have to keep taking them back. Where is it? We can sell you a couple back, buddy. You can have 6. Ta-da! There we go. All right, I think that was everybody. All right, off we go to the Ron. We got to be running low. I know there's definitely more settlers, because I still haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any of them from Chapter 2. So I don't think we've seen No Man's Land, Lucky Bucky. I don't think we've seen either of those guys. The third one, I can't. Oh, Alan Walsh. I don't think we've seen any of those 3 yet. Just Reds, I hope they add the pen tool function for making roads like other game engines have in Creation Kit 2. Putting them one by one is so time consuming and finicky. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to be desired in the CK.
All right. What's the word?
I think that
excuse me.
Oh yeah.
I got to imagine the tools in the CK are gonna blow our minds for Starfield, because they'll have to have created tools for generating entire planets. So I assume they will give us access to those, to where we can, you know, set up the seeds for planets and however the heck they built those, because there's no way that they started from scratch with all those, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't just go in there and manually landmass. I mean, I'm sure they use like height maps and stuff, but there's got to be some sort of system to like quick start that, because otherwise their developers would have just got really tired and bored and would not have made it to 1,000. So I'm guessing they've got some really cool tools for designing world spaces.
Running a tad dry lately. Try checking back in.
All right, so strength and endurance are a bust.
Welcome to the Ron's Information Emporium.
Any idea where I can find someone?
Looking for talent.
I'm looking for someone.
What do we got next? Let's try charisma.
Charm.
Here.
There we go.
This lead should get you what you're looking for. Come back again. Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Laser Love's still waiting for Gremlin. Okay. Oh, this person went to Sunshine. They know where they're headed. I forget it every time.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Ron. Forget it every time. I can't fast travel from here. Quest for BI. There's a YouTube video of vanilla items used to build a killing machine at Starlight Drive-In. Is that like full vanilla, or like DLC items, like some of the machinery stuff from Contraptions DLC? Let's see here. Is he still in Sunshine? Yep. James Cullen. I went to university for game design, so these things are very interesting to me. Awesome. What part of game design are you gonna do? You getting programming, art, sound design? Everything? Just gonna make your own indie games? Chris McLam, did you see the trait in the trailer about the visitable parents that you pay them to? Yes, that is actually just an amazing trait. It's really creative, but I'm really curious about how they did the parents. Like, you know, they went to all this effort to make it so that you're kind of a blank slate character, but then your parents would have to have a personality, right, to talk to them. But the other thing that was exciting about that, the geeky side of me was like, oh, they've got mortgages, which means maybe they actually set up a proper like data tracking system to do all the spreadsheet work and everything. Hopefully it's not just one of their controller quests like we use for SS2, and they have a more robust system for it. Hello, Maggie.
Meet a new person. The name's Maggie Green.
It's raining out here. We're gonna fix that. Let's fix weather. That's what we're gonna call that command. Fix weather. 2B52. Hey, there we go.
Are you the one in charge here?
Why don't you just tell me about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for asking. I used to be a trader, traveling from here to the Capital Wasteland. Been doing it since I was a kid. My parents were traders before me. They've since passed, I'm sad to say. But they made me everything I am today. I miss them. But what they taught me kept me on the straight and narrow. I'm happy to share what I know and bring a little...
Beowulf, what do you think about those that mod Fallout into Tarkov that are popular now? Are you talking about like all the UI stuff? Because I've never really played Tarkov. I've watched people play it a bit, but I don't know what mod you're talking about. Is it like a pack of mods? I'm not sure what you're talking about. So I have no opinion because I don't know what you mean.
What happened to them?
To my parents? Well, I don't like to dwell on sad things, but in short, they turned into feral ghouls after we traded with the children of Adam. But please, hun, I have so many happier stories. Funny ones, too. Like this one time, a bunch of cats took down a huge rad chicken. What a hoot. Or that time all the outhouses exploded in one settlement. Anyway, hun, I'm still interested in joining your place here if you've got the room. What do you say?
Has anybody made an exploding outhouse plot yet?
You a trader? Sure. Let me see what you've got.
Oh, hun, I wish I could help there, but those days are long behind me. I used to be a trader. Right now I'm looking for a place to settle down. I have a lot of experience, and I'd be happy to offer what I know in exchange for a place to live. What do you say?
Really want to ask about the parents for some reason.
Veterans around here.
Oh. Well, now, I can't say I've ever really thought of myself like that.
Yeah, I think her stats are no good.
All the same. So, where do you want me?
Join the Sunshine Party, of course. We're going to strip this place dry in a couple of weeks. There's going to be nobody left. Basically, Sunshine has become like HQ Light for now. Or the HQ Minor Leagues. I think I already made that crack before. No, Isaiah. Thanks for the info, buddy. Gremlin.
I can't believe that cricket. She's totally ripping off my thing.
Hi there.
You just talking to yourself over here?
I'll be back.
All right, let's try this again.
Person I wanted to see. Want to earn another 250 caps?
Yes, I do.
Finally managed to track
That's
down
half a
something
settler.
I told you about. And this time there really is a gun.
What's so important about this tech?
It's a really good one.
Let's hear it.
Really? You mean it?
Just Dreads, I heard the Arma 4 Reforger engine will have Blender import compatibility, so we can immediately put our models in engine and modify weights, functions, etc. Hope CK2 does the same also. I doubt they will, but maybe. It would be really cool because like you can do that with. You can bring in typical model files into most engines. The Creation Engine is one of the ones you can't. I think there's a pretty strong chance they've broken free of Havoc at this point, which is what's always been holding them back. But there's also a chance they didn't because it's so integrated into their design patterns that maybe it's going to take them another couple of games to break free of that. I don't know.
What more do I need to learn?
No, that about covers it.
All right.
Hell yeah. Okay, so all you've got to do is go check out this crashed vertebrate I'm going to mark on your pip point and look for one of the LPP carbines. The crate might have busted open, so just keep an eye out for a rifle that doesn't look like something you recognize. I don't care whether they work or not either. Just bring me back one and you can have the caps. And I can have that sweet, sweet weapons tech.
Off we go.
Oh, my poor baby. Out in the wilderness all alone.
Okay. So one of the things I'm considering changing for Gremlin is originally she was going to have some cool unlock, but it was like early enough in development before we knew what we could pull off. And then later in development, we came up with the laser artillery. That's the high tech. But we didn't want a quest to bypass both of the like from advanced. We didn't want somebody to unlock high tech before they got to advanced. So what I might do with Gremlin is let her unlock high tech, but make it so that she herself doesn't appear until after players have advanced unlocked. And that makes it, and it's very feasible to do that because you automatically unlock advanced if you finish the CPD quest line. So that way you could kind of get her laser technology in the form of unlocking that building plan and the high tech. I think that might be a good compromise to make sure that she ends up with a reward that matches what she claims she's going to give you. Because that's always, I know that's a disappointment to the end of this quest that there's no laser weaponry that you actually get at the end of it. Carvac, the parents are probably using the same system they use for Sean. Oh yeah, for like the skin tones and stuff. Yeah, I'm sure they'll do something like that. But I was more thinking like personality wise, like, you're going to have, if you can go visit them, presumably they're going to have stuff to say, right? So they're going to have some sort of, oh, we need to get up there. Okay. They're going to have some sort of personality, right? So that, that'll potentially negatively impact people's role-playing experience who are being really hardcore about it, because I think the people, like, I'm one of the people who's like, I'm kind of bummed I like voice protagonists. Like I didn't find that as a turnoff with Fallout 4. I thought, oh cool, Bethesda's meeting the modern expectations, because pretty much every other RPG out there has a voice protagonist anymore. So that, to me, that was always like cool that we're moving on up. But a lot of purists didn't like that, and so I would think that they would have the same problem then, maybe less of a problem with their parents coming, existing in the game world, because then that's all of a sudden, unless, are they going to do just random generated parents so that each playthrough you choose that perk, it's different? I don't know. I think it's a cool idea though. I can't wait to see what they do for that. That's probably one of the perks I'll choose, or one of the traits I'll choose, unless they offer me something more exciting. The religion ones sound cool too. A chance to put some kind of mystical type stuff into the game that's otherwise pretty Looks like they're going for, you know, mostly realistic. Obviously, like, rule of cool applies. Uh-oh, how the hell do I get this? I don't remember. Where they're doing things like, you know, explosions in space and sound in space because, you know, a dogfight would feel pretty lame without that stuff. I don't remember how you get this. Maybe we gotta go from up there. Otherwise, because I'm pretty sure I die if I make that leap without power armor. Alright, let's try going from up above. How do we even get above? Oh yeah, there's a, I can see the lift over here. Oh, are you kidding me? I gotta go all the way back down. Alright, maybe there's a way to drop down here. You guys are probably telling me that in chat and I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I think I can make this drop over here though. Yeah, cool. Beowulf, I mean that make the mod pack that makes Fallout into Tarkov. I've never seen a mod pack like that. You gotta, I guess you guys can't post links in the channels. I'll have to go look that up. I'll go look up a YouTube video on it. Up we go. Alright, let's see if we can drop down safely over here. Oh yeah, looks like we can get to it from here. Oh, and some power armor too. I just heard dog meat yelp. Poor guy. What do you think here? Well, I guess this solves our problem. Because if we fall now, at least we won't die. Alright, can we get in here? Yes. Alright, cool. Whoa! Flying all over the place. Help me beat carbine. Did we leave any other loot in here? This feels like a good place to drop some other loot. There's some bullets. We'll take that. Now, is it possible to get back up, or did we just like anticipate? Oh, people will have power. We'll grab that power armor and they'll be fine. Let's see if there's a way to jump back up, or if we just left people's. Oh yeah, you can kind of maneuver your way back up. Okay, cool. Hey, the Ron's billboard. I never knew that one was there. And then, of course, it's just fun to do this. So, one of the best features of Fallout 4. No fall damage power armor. Fantastic. Ridiculous, but fantastic. Alright, let's go back to Sunshine. I need more beds again in Sunshine? Yeah, you're right. I keep sending people there. No trick, I'm having an issue with HQ. I can't assign Jake or Aiden. The assignment menu does not come up. There's not really an assignment menu in there. So what you'd, oh, I know what you mean. The assignment menu for them to assign them as department heads. If they're not getting assigned as the department heads correctly, go for, at least for Jake, go in the commissary room. There's a desk called engineering. Engineering desk. It's to your right when you enter in, I believe, or maybe it's left or right. I don't remember. It's on either side of the door, and you can assign him through that. For Aiden, I think the security desk that's getting added to the meeting room is coming in the next patch, so you might have to wait for that one. But if the assignment menu doesn't work, then you have bigger problems. You have something else has broken. I don't know what's going on for you because I've never experienced that, but. I will be doing the next patch is all about HQ, so I'll be doing some serious deep dive into the code to try and resolve little quirks folks have had. If you're on PC, you can post a save on our forums and I can take a look at it. All right, let's do our force weather command again. Much better, much better. Okay, now what are we doing? See how distracted I get? All right, Gremlin. Like all the ghouls just wandering around here now. I don't remember if they have a defense bonus or what. Let's check that real quick. Shiny. Can I assign them to anything? No. I think they're literally just like actual defense in the form of they will go attack things that attack, or they're supposed to. Might not work anymore.
Got anything for me?
I do. Can I ask you something? Hold on.
Something else.
I'll be back.
Try that again.
It yet?
Yes, we got it.
Got it right here.
You do? That's great. Let me see. Oh, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, Hey Yo Comics says, I do remember at some point Bethesda was talking about moving away from Havoc due to how hard it was to work around for mod authors or something along the lines. Yeah, I hope so.
Some things. I'll need to work on this. Okay, I'll be honest, mainly Mentats. Here's your caps.
Tell me how I can help.
It's probably best if I work alone. My experiments get a little crazy. I'm pretty good at keeping myself safe, but I make no promises for bystanders. Oh, hey, before I forget, I might have something else in a couple days. Love you.
Does she have? Yeah, she does have something else. Okay, I thought that was the end of it, and then I know that at some point it just dead ends because a lot of people complain or like asking on the forums of like, when does she give you the laser thing? So back to the Havoc point. I think the nice thing though is that even if they didn't get away with from Havoc, now like Microsoft owns it. So at some point, Havoc used to be more of an open thing. I think anybody could use it, or you could license it fairly cheaply, and then Microsoft bought it, cut that off. But now, since Microsoft owns Bethesda, in theory, Bethesda could release Havoc tools with the Creation Kit. Now that it's the same company, then they would have reason to do so because it will keep. If modders are releasing better content, it keeps more people in the Microsoft ecosystem for gaming. So maybe it'll be a non-issue then. All right, so you guys point out I'm gonna need another bed now because I've been sending people here. We'll go ahead and plant. Let's see if I can find a spot for a couple more. Oh, I guess I'll make it a multi-person. Let's see. Plop you there. Probably gonna need some stairs for this guy. Where's our plot stairs? No, not those big ugly mugs. Yeah, these guys. Sure, that'll work. Grab you. I want multi-person. There we go. And yeah, keep that option. That works. Okay, where are we at now? Yeah, pay and build. That's fine. Okay, because we got Maggie Green, and she had no quest, so she was easy. So we can go back to the run again. Collect all the settlers. There's so many to collect. I love it. Just Reds, I hope the previous occupation traits in Starfield will have mini quests. Like if you have a doctor background, you'll find patients you worked on in the world. Oh, that would be really cool. To have like your background. I think I saw Todd Howard say in an interview that there was going to be something in depending on your background to where there was at least some reference to it in the game, so it's not just a set of perks you get at the beginning. My guess will be they do something like what Cyberpunk did, where there's just a few dialogue options extra for. Oh, they still don't have caps again. A few extra dialogue options depending on the background that you chose, so that you get a couple of chances to make use of it. Oh wow, we got a lot of caps now. We're up to 2,000. I guess Gremlin hooked us up. John Geddes, I've always had to go to the top and jump down into the vertebra to get it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. John Geddes, I have a question about the quest involving Carl and the ghouls. I have 2 mods that make the ghouls into zombies. Is that going to cause an issue with this quest? I have no idea, but if you find that it does, let me know. Usually what I do with those quests is either I set them up when I have to use creatures. I either set them up in a way where it doesn't matter what you did to the creatures, or I'll create copies of the vanilla records into custom records, so that way even if mods mess with the vanilla records, it won't break our quests.
Hey, good to see you.
That's how I try to do those things.
Here to buy or here to sell?
Yeah, let's see. I think we were up to charisma.
What kind of attributes you in the market for?
I'm looking for
I still don't know why these other ones aren't disappearing from the menu. That's another secondary issue I got to look up into. Actually, let me write some notes here while we're sitting here. All right, so we need to look into runs, menu, not hiding, unavailable stats. There was something else that we ran into I was going to mark down, and I totally forgot. All right. Well, whatever. That's a good start. All right. So we did SPEC, so on intelligence we're up to.
Sorry, but the talent pool's running a tad dry.
Oh, that's
Try
disappointing.
checking back in a few days.
All right. Well, then, so let's try agility.
Little knowledge can be a profitable thing.
Any idea where I can find someone?
Looking for talent, are we? What kind of attributes you in the market for?
I'm looking for someone.
Agility. There we go.
Just the lead. Here, all the information you need. Come back again. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna try and fast travel again. Watch, even though I know I shouldn't. I'm gonna try it. There we go. I remembered. King Gath needs to build a mortar with clear weather shells that fire as soon as you get into the settlement. Is that a mod idea you're throwing at me, or are you saying that already exists and I need to go download that? Matthew, only the second time catching a King Gath stream. Love seeing Gathman catch rare bugs in this playthrough. I think I've been catching common bugs. I think the ones that I've been writing down and stuff are ones you guys have seen. But yeah, it's really nice to have these clean saves with the issue saved in them when I run into them. So then I can just load up, try and fix it, see if it worked. It makes bug fixing so much faster and less awful.
This is a decent setup.
Oh, here we go.
It seems to be working better than anything else on this side of the Commonwealth at any rate. Don't take that to mean I think this place is a dump, though. You know, I
just got confirmation from Sir Locke that Amara's dialogue will be being expanded soon. We finished a script of new lines for her, and the voice actress will be recording them relatively soon.
Depends on the work.
Don't worry, it's nothing terrible. There's a glowing rad stag and his harem nearby that I'd like you to hunt. A total of 4 rad stag altogether. The meat from those stag is a bit more substantial than potatoes or corn. So all I'll need you to do is put a beacon on the glowing stag once finished. Once you've done that, I'll come out with a few of the other settlers and pick it up. So, how about it?
All right, I'll do it.
Good. Now, that glowing stag ain't too far from here. Once the activation signal from that beacon goes, we'll assume I'm dead and come pick him up.
Yeah?
Okay, track down the red stag herd. Oh, clear weather shells are part of one of the DLC? That's awesome. I did not know that. I never really played with any of the DLC items. Like the only DLC I've given the only 2 I should say I've given a real fair shot to are Far Harbor and Vault Tech. Hey, there we go. Been waiting for you, buddy. So yeah, I never really played much with Contraptions or Wasteland DLC, and what I've only done in Nuka World is like I power played through it, and it's because I wanted to know how all of it worked when I was working on Conqueror, so I never really gave that one a fair shot. Oh, it's that hum of electricity. I love it. All right, let's see. One of these guys is getting upgraded. Advanced power plant. All right, this is gonna really muck up our power for a minute. Where's the explosion? There it is. I love those explosions from Extended. Thank you, Sebo. Alright, so now we gotta deal with... I don't remember if I... Uh-oh. What do we got going on here? I'll give it some time. What I don't remember... Why aren't you guys disappearing? That's making me sad. Is if I have the settler stat thing enabled in here or not. Alright, it is really running slow. Alright, we're gonna give it a second. Come on, game. Get with it. I guess we can do... Let's pop into the Vitamanic. See if we can find a settler with appropriate stats here. We may have sent them all away. Although I do have training plots here, so maybe not. Man, the visitors are just hoarding the bar.
Huh?
All right, here we go. Oh, everybody else is probably asleep. The visitors are going for the all-night drink-a-thon. There's Rob in the bar. All the tender sleeps. Hello? Can I just scan you? That cool? Hey, there it is. Coal plant. Okay. Uh-oh. There it is. Did she just get assigned as power plant engineer? Let's see. Nope, you're not the one. Oh, you know what I can do? I'll go track our... What is it? It's intelligence, I think, is power. Although it is building, so I think somebody did get assigned to it. Let's see. I'll say I can go track the intelligence trainer and find a good person that way. What? Oh, it's still got tracking on from power. I gotta turn that off. Let's see. City manager tools, ASAM tracking, unpowered off. So then that should be our person. It is that person. Okay, so I must have turned off the stat requirements across the board. Cool. All right. Finally, I'm gonna have to go run around and build some more power plants everywhere. I need a big long off-camera session to work on my settlements. Or maybe or I need to find time to get here early. It's been really hard lately for me to get on to start streaming earlier. My we started to let my 4-year-old stay up later, and so usually I'm putting him to bed right before I pop on here and stream. Coal plant. I guess we can. Oh, I don't need to pass time. I was gonna say pass time because then Gremlin's thing will pop, but that won't actually speed up the construction. We got real-time construction on. Yeah, it's a good thing you can't take damage from flying debris. That flying sheet of corroded steel would have wrecked you. Yes, it would have. Beautiful. Got ourselves a nice coal plant. All right, let's. Oh, it's finishing operation. I just want to turn off tracking. You are a loud power generator. I mean, I appreciate the volume from an immersive standpoint, but less good while streaming. All right, turn off tracking. Oh yeah, that adds some sanitation. Everybody in my settlements are sick and dying. Like, we really need to get moving on HQ so I can start researching some cures. Okay, where are we at here? We got to track down the stags. All right, we're gonna do. I think this will be our. Oh, they're right by Red Rocket. Cool. This will be our last quest for the night, and then I'm gonna go into chat mode. There's still so many settlers left to get. Like, I'm running through the list in my head. I'm like, oh, we haven't got him yet. I haven't got him yet. I haven't got him yet. When I first recruited all the writing team and the voice actors, they must have thought I was nuts when I said when I was aiming for 100 recruitable settlers. Oh God! Oh, they got us putting it on the yearling? Sorry. Come back here. I don't remember which one we're supposed to put it on. I assume it's the stag, but just in case. Did the quest marker update? No, it just kind of has it on the... So I guess we're going to look at our... This is a read your objective. Track down the red stag herd. I did. What do we think here? Okay, let's put this on my bug list. So we're going to save this as... Save... What are we on? LP... I think 24, right? Day 24. Amara... Objective... Unclear. Because I feel like I have this... I have good objectives set up for this quest, but it looks like whatever's supposed to trigger it didn't work. So, because it should be telling you specifically what to do. You should not... I'm not usually a huge fan of the... Like... I actually like the quests where you have to think and read and stuff in a theoretical sense, but in reality, I don't have time for it, and the rest of Fallout 4 doesn't make you do it, so we've kind of steered away from it. Like, I think the one quest we had that we didn't do that was the... when we released Chapter 1, there was the one in the Vault-Tec basement where you had to, like, actually search everywhere, and then we quickly relented on that because was not intuitive initially. Tracking beacon should be this, right? Store. There we go. Nice little salvage beacon. Return to Amara. Cool. Yeah, and then this objective is just stuck, so that did not do what we wanted it to. Now where is Amara? Because she wandered off. No, she's still in Sanctuary. Cool. Yeah, Mod Hunter, I could do that. I could definitely record my my tinkering session with my settlements. I presume what I would like is to catch a night when my next time my kid goes to bed early on a Wednesday, which does happen on occasion. And actually, the once he starts school this this fall, we'll start making him go to bed early again because he won't. Right now, it's my kids nap for several hours in the middle of the day, so they're just like wide awake right around now. So asking them to go to sleep is kind of dumb and pointless. They're just gonna sit in there and play.
Have you had a chance to kill that stag and his harem yet?
I did. I got him.
Yeah, I took care of them.
Thanks to you, we were able to pick up the meat and clear a dangerous animal from the area. For now, I'll do what I can to further help these people out. You've done these people a good turn.
All right. Awesome. 17 caps. That's it. Voiced by Steph Clendenden. Written by Saphira Joe. Awesome. We have got quite the pool of settlers. All right, what's our? I'm curious how much power we have now. I know the power isn't that much more from advanced to 367. Awesome. Where's our municipal? Yeah, 275 from municipal. Yeah, I definitely need to come in here. I think I need to just like fully rebuild this grid. But and I'm gonna try using the workshop framework, but not right now. Actually, you know what? We'll do, no, I don't want to do it right now because if it crashes the game, then that's gonna get me all derailed. So let's save our end of session save. Save LP day 24. Typing end of session. And then let's get our normal setup. We need it to be daytime, please. Set game hour to 11. Weather. Oops, I typed that wrong. Oh, we got it. We just do that. There we go. And then time scale to 0.1. And then let's move far away from the Hammer Brothers and all the generators. Find ourselves a nice quiet corner. Actually, I'll go away from the settlers too. Maybe then no one will distract me with in-game chat. TFC. There we go. A nice view. We can watch Dogmate run around like a fool. All right, let's go to chat mode. So if you guys have any questions, or if I missed some of your questions earlier, you want to just talk, I'm just going to spend the next hour or so hanging out with you guys. We'll talk about whatever. I might put up Starfield videos and we can talk about them because I'm super hyped on Starfield. I will say one of the cool things that happened from the Starfield trailer is it gave me some inspiration for some stuff to add to some settlements, which was nice. Nothing like grandiose, like I'm not suddenly going to add shipbuilding or something, but just some minor little things where I'm like, oh, I could do that. I could do that in some settlements. I won't spoil any of them because it might give away Chapter 3 story content. But yeah, there's some. It got me really hyped about Bethesda games in general to watch those trailers and get excited for a new game. Because I was pretty I was excited in the sense that I know a Bethesda single-player RPG is always going to pull me in. It's always going to get me at least, like even 76, once they added the quest content, got me a good 30, 40 hours of entertainment. Like, I can always count on that. And that's always exciting. Exploring a new world is fun. So, like, I was excited from that point of Starfield. But now, having seen all the, like, the shipbuilding and the crews and stuff, I'm just like, I just want to get my hands on that. Not necessarily to mod, like just to enjoy it as a player, and then see if they left any holes, anything wanting in their gameplay system. Oscar Fry, sounds like you need to tape your kid to a treadmill and put it to full power so they will tire out and go to sleep. Yeah, we try to take them like we go to dinner and then like go to a park or something and just let them run themselves out. But I think kids are Energizer bunnies. They just go forever. Sugar him up early in the afternoon and we crash by 7. We are pretty anti. Like, I have no problem with sugar and stuff. I just we definitely not an unlimited sugar household. Because my family was growing up. Like, I'd start my day with like a bowl of Lucky Charms, have a peanut butter jelly sandwich for lunch, and then like ice cream every day after dinner. And dinner was often like spaghetti. And I don't know, anybody who's had American style homemade spaghetti, there's a lot of sugar in that pasta sauce. So like I was just fueled on sugar as a kid. Yeah, you know, I just joke my parents didn't know any better. There wasn't enough health information back then. There probably was, but it's fine. I turned out all right. But I still, I can't. I have such a sugar addiction now as an adult that I'm like, I do not wish that on my kids. Like if I'm not intentionally like on a diet, like focusing on what I'm eating, like I will just all the time want to grab sugar crap because it's just like such a crazy addiction. Like every time I pass by a store with a decent looking Danish, gotta run in there and grab me one. Ice cream too, man. Ice cream in the summer. So I'm trying not to get my kids addicted the same way I am. I don't know if that's possible though. I think sugar addiction is part of humanity. It's like saying try to avoid getting hooked on coffee. Let's see here. Oscar Fry, will HQ ever be simplified? No, if anything, it's going to get more complex, but we will have a lot more options to simplify it from like turn off mechanics. And we are going to add like a full auto mode, so that people who just are not interested in it can do it, or people who are like, they just want the story content can do it, or if you just need a jump start and it's like, you know, I want to play with some of the stuff, but I don't want to build it. So we're definitely going to add a lot of stuff over the next 6 to 12 months to make HQ more accessible in various ways, but the core gameplay loop is going to have depth to it because that was kind of the purpose of HQ, was to have a player home with a lot of depth to it. But yeah, there will be options to like disable a lot of stuff. There's already quite a few options there. Actually, I can show you this goes. Let's see here. Well, let's go into mod config. We'll talk about some of the options in here. It's a good thing to talk about, Oscar. Sim Settlements 2, gameplay. We'll go into the HQ section here, and if you guys are following along, you want some of these options, they are available in the holotape as well if you're on Xbox or something. So like daily spending limited. So by turning this off, it gets rid of all the requirement for scrap logistics or power engineering, any of those like things you don't know what it's talking about necessarily, like where they're not things you've heard of that you would have in your inventory. Food logistics, scrap logistics, power engineering, power water. I don't know how many of them are actually used beyond scrap logistics in the current incarnation of HQ. More of them will be in use later, but all of those get disabled if you turn this off. Spending limited by workforce. Okay, so I think if you turn both of these off, that's what you'll want to do for that. So the spending, those limited resource things are, HQ determines one of the maximums, like the max that your work can provide, and then your workforce is another part of it. So these two combined. So like certain upgrades of HQ will increase the max scrap logistics total, and then your workforce increases the scrap logistics you get when you go into workshop mode. So by increasing both of these, basically by building up HQ and having more people in a department, you increase the amount of scrap logistics you get at any one time. And if you want that system gone, just turn both of these off. The mission worker selection, I don't think you guys have yet. That's a beta feature that will be coming to you soon. Override timers, I have it on right now. This is kind of something like, it's kind of like streamer mode. Like, it's really not exciting to watch people stream who are just sleeping or waiting over and over again to force the HQ timers. So this is perfect for that. But basically what it does is it makes the rooms build the same speed as plots do, is effectively what it does. But it also works for other stuff. It'll make like the disease research go basically instantaneous. So if you find yourself just sleeping to rush past all of the timers, then you might as well just turn this on. But otherwise, if you want HQ to, be your end game loop as like something you do in between your dungeon crawling, then leave this off, and then it'll make it so that the projects actually take as long as they say in the description. PA system, this is just something you can turn off if you don't like it, if it's not your jam. I love the PA system. I remember when it was first proposed to me by Del Chupernabre, who's been doing sound in some settlements for basically since the beginning. I was so in love with the idea, and when it all came together, it was like, oh, this is so cool. So I still get a thrill out of this. Supply agreements require leaders. This is one where I don't think it's clear in the game that this is even the case. So like this one, I don't know. We either need to explain it better in the pop-ups, or I need to just disable this by default, because I don't think this one's clear. But that means like the settlements that will come up as offered for you to set up supply agreements currently require leaders. The other thing you can do to make HQ simpler is to just go into God mode. Just put yourself in TGM, and then you can build all the projects and ignore effectively all of the mechanics. So that's if you find HQ too complex, I would just go TGM, and then you just build as many projects as you want and see what happens. Let's see here. Trying to catch up with. I'm trying to figure out where I was in chat. Here we go. John Geddes, if you do a SS2 style mod for Starfield, there need to be characters like Jake, Aiden, and Paul, and old Paul. Yeah, I would agree. I don't see myself doing mods or game development that doesn't have story content. I love the marriage of systems and story. I think that's the kind of games I want to make. So the time of gameplay I want to do, what I anticipate happening in the short term with Starfield is I will probably release a few little quality of life mods. Like I'll figure out some stuff, and then whether I get into bigger mods or anything, the scope of Sim Settlements will just depend on if the game gets its hooks in me, what my free time's like, how many people on the Sim Settlements team are interested in modding, or maybe they'll be obviously I started modding Fallout 4 without a team, and then people were inspired and joined up because of Sim Settlements. Like maybe that'll happen for Starfield. I don't know. I have no other plans for Starfield beyond I want to play the crap out of that game. It looks fantastic. Jason Lockrantz, I think you're using Windows 10. Any plans on upgrading Windows 11? I will on my next machine, but yes, I am using Windows 10. I don't like upgrading operating systems midway through using my computer. I always wait to jump until I get a new computer, or like if my OS hard drive failed, I might install Windows 11, but I don't want to have to go through, like if I happen to have some antiquated hardware that works well with Windows 10 and then suddenly doesn't work with Windows 11, that's going to really upset me. So I'm just not going to do it. I know that's less of an issue now than it used to be, but I've worked with every version of Windows throughout my life. I'm old enough to have lived through all of the versions of Windows from 3.1 and NT and 95 and some of the terrible ones like Millennium Edition, and just so it's just like I've seen all the horror that can come from upgrading operating systems while you're still using a computer actively. It's never works out good in my opinion. I'm sure it's, like I said, I'm sure Windows 10 to 11 is totally seamless, but not gonna risk it. Not crazy. Go ahead and spoil away on Chapter 3. We all know at the end, we learn that the NPC King Gath is the secret employer of the Gunners. There's just a photogrammetry scan of me in the game in a dark bunker in the center of the earth. That's the end boss. Beowulf, do you think anyone will do a mod that returns you to Operation Anchorage? I doubt it. I think some of the core people that were working on the Fallout 3 porting have tapped out. Obviously somebody mentioned it earlier, like Fried Turkey just posted on Twitter that he announced that he's working on Fallout 76. He's working for 11, the gaming company out of the UK. And he was one of the primary producers for the Capital Wasteland team. And usually the people that announce these total recreation mods, they usually don't talk about doing the DLC. They're usually like, let's do the core game first. And then so far, the only game I can think of that got a full recreation that actually happened is the Black Mesa project that recreated Half-Life. I can't think, can you guys think of other big games that successfully got recreated? It seems to be one of those things where a lot of teams like to attempt it, and it never actually gets finished. There's probably some 2D platformers and stuff that have been fully recreated with more modern art, but I'm not aware of a lot of 3D titles that have successfully had it. So I have very, very low hope for any of that happening. I mean, I would love it. I am holding out hope that one day Sky Oblivion gets finished so I can actually play Oblivion, or I would also accept a remaster or remake, because I find the Oblivion's controls are a little too clunky for me now, so I don't enjoy playing it, even though I know some people say it holds up. Jason King Gath's playing on an Xbox. It certainly looks like that, doesn't it? No, I play on PC, but I use a controller. I have played on Xbox. My first playthrough was on Xbox. In fact, my first playthrough of every Bethesda game, I think, was on... I'm trying to think if there's an exception to that. I know my first Bethesda game was Morrowind, which I definitely played on the original Fat Boy controller Xbox in high school. Dating myself for you guys. What else did I play? Let's see. I played Fallout 3 on Xbox 360. Same with Skyrim. No, yeah, that would have been Xbox 360, right? Xbox One I mean, now it feels like it's forever. It's been out forever, but I don't know if I played any. I think that's probably where I played Fallout 4. I'm losing track of which Xbox is which. They're all, the naming scheme is awful. But anyway, I think I've played every single Bethesda game to date, other than, I guess, 76 I did not play on. I ended up playing that on PC all the way through. Quester WI, I grew up with real Kool-Aid that needed 2 more cups of sugar for a gallon of cherry. Yes, I did as well. We drank a lot of Kool-Aid as a kid. Yeah, I forgot about that. So not only was it Lucky Charms into peanut butter and jelly into sugar-filled pasta sauce into ice cream, there was also throughout the day unlimited Kool-Aid. Yep, I was in that camp as well. Now I think Kool-Aid tastes disgusting. Like, no, it does not give me any nostalgia. It's so much sugar that I'm like, ugh. Maybe it's because they've changed it. Maybe it's not as much. Maybe it's not enough sugar. No, that's why I don't like it. Mod 142. I like the soundscape, but after building in a settlement for hours, my playstyle gets to be Hammertown, so I turn it off. But it keeps going. Really? Let's try that. Whoops. All right, I guess we quick saved. Let's try turning off the soundscape, see if it ends for us. Sim Settlements 2. Gameplay. Trying to remember where it's at. Did I pass it? Oh yeah, there it is. Dynamic soundscape. Oh, it's just our alphabetization is a little off here. Probably because we wanted to keep the lighting hours next to each other. Alright, dynamic soundscape off. Let's see if it does anything. Because as far as I know, that's like a pretty simple system to turn on and off. Like the soundscape at the top of the list, like it might take I might have to exit workshop mode and leave, or exit the area and leave. Because I just heard a splash of music. That was definitely from the soundscape. I guess the best way to find out if it worked will be turn off TFC. Let's go wander over by industrial section because we got so much. Oh yeah, I just heard somebody talk. I wonder if the... Let's check this. I wonder if the MCM menu is wrong. Help. Soundscape 3. Dynamic soundscape is off. Alright, let's do this. SS, so quest variable, SS2, soundscape manager. Let's do set quest, what is it? Papyrus quest variable. No, come on, I needed the name of that. B interrupt soundscape equals true. Missing parameter string. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Set papyrus quest variable, that's right. Manager B interrupt soundscape. Oh, it's the equal sign. Gotta get rid of that. Okay, I'll see if that does anything. Okay, well, that's my list. I don't see how that's possible. I wonder if we've like failed to set a script property with that setting, because I can see the code in my head and it's set up so simply that I don't see how this is failing. But all right, LP day. I won't even do the LP day. It's like soundscape stuck on. Boop. All right, let me put that on my notes. Soundscape off. Not working. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to go COC Diamond City exterior. Then we'll come back and we'll see if it turns itself off. Because like there's a so the way the soundscape works is it basically like it does a constant loop when you're in your settlements. And at the top of each loop, it checks that setting again. So the only thing I can think of is if the setting is pointing to something else incorrectly. Or maybe when we set it up with the local settings a few patches back, maybe that broke it. I don't know. Loading. Oscar Fry, when will SS2 allow us to build power armor for dog meat? I don't think that will ever happen. Because I think that like the way power armor works is done at such an engine level that I don't know how the hell we would do that for. I mean, it's like it would have to be like fake power armor, like not this. It wouldn't be working nearly as cool. It would just be like visually look like big heavy duty metal armor in a dog shape. Would be the best I think you could do in this engine. But yeah, definitely outside the scope. All right, there's our Hammer Brothers. Let's see if the dynamic soundscape kicks in when we walk over here. That's just the sound from the plot. That's not soundscape yet. We should start hearing like people talking in the background. Or chickens. I'm not hearing any yet, but sometimes it takes a minute to kick in. Let's go by their farm, see if we hear any chickens. I think it turned off. So far, all the sounds I'm hearing, like the little, like, ding, ding, like some little, like, metal sounds, that's actually built into the base game. That's not the soundscape. There is some of that in the soundscape, too, but it's a lot of it built into the base game. And the hammers are normal, generators are vanilla. Yeah, I think it doesn't actually, it must not shut off unless you leave and come back. Because I'm definitely not hearing it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's not fully broken, it's just not responsive, which I should be able to fix that. All right, back to our perch high in the sky. So yeah, leave your settlement and go like far away from it and come back, and it looks like it'll turn it off. Oh god, we've got more garbage chat here. Hide user from channel. Oh man, I fell way behind up here. Question WI, I still think Bethesda and Microsoft need to hire all the SS2 team ASAP. My first was 3.0 that crashed during installation. We were talking about Windows. Yeah, I think I know, like, well, the my contacts at Bethesda have said anybody on our team who applies for a job, they should definitely mention that they worked on some settlements. But as far as I know, there's only one person on the team so far who's actively pursuing a game design career, and as far as I know, there haven't been any like good matches for them yet. Not crazy. If Starfield gets pushed far back enough, can we get Chapter 4 where Mr. House comes back as a Robobrand? I think the chances of Chapter 4 are pretty darn slim. Because we just have so much coming in Chapter 3, and then we have just mountains of like side content that is currently on the chopping block. That's like a lot of it's partially written, a lot of it's partially planned, where we're just like, all right, we need to make that post-launch content so we can focus on actually finishing the story in enough time for people to want to play it. And then the side stuff would be great for people who like to dig in deep. You know, you guys, anybody who's willing to watch me play and listen to me ramble for hours is probably also interested in, like, you know, extra settlers and like deeper pools of dialogue and stuff that isn't required for us to complete the story that we started. And so that's what we're working on right now. And then I think, you know, any extra time between then and Starfield, or even after Starfield, if we're going to create more content, would go toward finishing out all that stuff that we have on paper that we wanted to do that's started. So like a lot of, like, for one of the things we really want to do is like a companion style quest for the major HQ characters. So for like Jake and Aiden and Lupe and Mansfield, of giving you like some personal thing, you know, like have more dialogue with them where you get to know them, and eventually it leads to some personal quest where you get to, you know, give them a little character arc. And that is something that is currently on the not likely going to happen for the 3.0 release, but we would love to go back and do it. You know, that we might surprise you guys. That might actually make it in, but that's the kind of thing that I think we'd rather do, like go deeper with our characters and make them feel more alive than try and tack on another chapter of story content. Also, the ambition, like the stuff we had on paper for chapter 4 is so freaking ridiculous, like, because we kind of have we've taken to one-upping ourselves with each update. Like we try and cram in more quests, cram in, you know, more impressive content, bigger gameplay systems. So like it eventually gets to a point where like it gets like our vision is impossible. So some of the stuff that we had on paper for the theoretical chapter 4 is pie in the sky stuff that I'm not even certain that this game engine could handle. Quester WI, Todd has confirmed the next game out of Starfield is Fallout 5. I thought they said it was going to be Tez 6 and then Fallout 5. So which is why there's people joking that we aren't going to get, that means we aren't actually going to get Fallout 5 for like 12 more years. Because of the pace Bethesda develops, which is really disappointing. That's great. You're not that old. I played FO1 on Game Boy Color. No trick. I had a ColecoVision and an Atari 2600 in high school. Nice. I don't think I've ever actually played anything on ColecoVision. I remember my grandfather when I was a kid had an Atari, and I was shocked that he had that, like, just because he was not a techie guy. And it wasn't like he offered it up to me and my siblings and cousins either. It was just kind of there. Like, I remember just turning it on a couple of times and playing Space Invaders, but I don't remember him ever, you know, saying, "Here, this is for you guys to play with" or anything. So it was a very odd thing to find at his house. So he must have had like a secret. He was like a secret gamer. What was that? What was that show with Kevin Spacey where he was like the president and he was really it was like real super dark. It was on Netflix, and then, you know, he had all that weird life stuff happen, and then they kicked him off the show. And he had that like secret video game obsession. That was my grandpa, I think, minus the crazy murdering presidents thing. Shady Sidebeat, how old is Lupe? That is a question for Sarik. If he's in chat, he can answer that for you. I don't know. But, you know, looking at her and hearing her voice and the voice actors they went with, I would say 20s. Ageo Comics, the Sky Bolivian team's goal is to release before Starfield. Really? That's shocking. But also awesome. I didn't know they were that far along. Where did you see that? That would be freaking cool. That'd be a fun thing to play right before Starfield. Question WI, wait, you cannot be as old as me. I'm 6'7". No, I'm not that old. No offense. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that like that. I just assume that we have, you know, people watching on YouTube tend to be younger audience. So, and because they give me a bunch of stats on YouTube, the audience range for my channel is like 18, the biggest chunk of the audience is 18 to 40. So I assume a lot of I have outaged a large portion of the audience. Jim Simon, you said you made a mod for 76. What was it? It's actually hidden now, but I had made a mod that hid the floating player names and profile and little boxes, and it wouldn't show the emoticons. Like when you know, in 76 you do the emotion, it has that like, it plays that little GIF image floating over your head. I hated those. All that stuff was like reminding me, you know, it was annoying enough that people were bunny hopping around, but seeing all that stuff was so unimmersive that I had made a mod to disable it. And it quit working at some point during a patch, and since I wasn't playing 76, I just hid the mod. Oh man, so many naked HD XYZ posts that I'm scrolling through here. Oscar Fry, if we can't give dog meat power armor, how about turning dog meat into a Robo Brain dog? Didn't somebody mod Rex into as a skin for dog meat? Isn't that already a mod for Fallout 4? I'm pretty sure that is. I vaguely remember either watching someone play with that or I played with it in a playthrough in the past. John K's Robo Jake in Starfield. Well, what's interesting is the timeline of Starfield. I think is like early 2300s. And what year is it in Fallout 4? Like 2280, right? Oh, I can't do it in here. What year is it? Is it 2200s? Like 2277 is when it starts, right? So like it's really not that far off from the Fallout timeline as far as you know, other than civilization collapsed. But what if Earth in Starfield is, you know, derelict and destroyed and they don't go to it? Then, you know, you could headcanon that it exists in the Fallout universe. And then we need Chapter 4. Jake and company go put themselves on ice in Vault 111, and then they wake up in the Starfield timeline, build themselves a rocket ship, and fly to Atlantis. Boom. We continue the story. House of Cards. Yes, Jason, that's the one. I ended up never watching the last season because they kicked off Kevin Spacey, and that's why I watched the show. Can we expect to get Aiden romance at some point? I don't know if that's in the cards. I'm guessing no, because I know like the Jake romance is very tricky for Sarek to write, just because, you know, he doesn't want it to be cringy, and you know, for some people they're just not into that stuff. Like they don't want to see mods adding romance. I know that we've had discussions about how much more Aiden resonated with folks than we expected, because we, you know, he starts out like in Chapter 1, he's just kind of, you know, like a stereotype, right? He's just kind of the quiet, solemn badass who speaks kind of like in Conqueror. He was really this way, and he'd speak kind of cryptically. He was basically like an MGS character, and he got fleshed out a lot in Chapter 2, and now a lot of people have resonated with him, or he has resonated with a lot of people rather. So it may have been that the people falling in love with Aiden happened too late in development for him to get the romance treatment. John, guys, I've been reporting them each time. Oh, the bot's cool. Did you notice that the NPCs in Starfield were cross-eyed? Yes, I did. There's definitely like so a lot of us on the team watched the reveal trailers together, and we were cracking jokes about how they were giving us Andromeda vibes, and it was like, uh-oh, that's concerning. But it definitely it looks better than, they all look better than Fallout 4 as far as the face detail level and animation level. I think one of the things with the Starfield facial animations, and maybe this was the same problem with Andromeda. I never played Andromeda, only because so many people trashed it when it came out, that like how bad it was for a Mass Effect game, that I just didn't bother. But it seems to me that there's not enough subtlety in the motion. Like they need, there's like a gap you have to jump, where if you don't, you need to just like go way beyond in triangles in order for it to animate smoothly. Because like watching some of the trailer again with the the face is talking. Let's just bring it up. Like it feels like there's like moments where the face moves, and it feels like unnaturally rigid. Like you see these like lines in the face that just feel like too intense or too like you can see kind of the I don't know, you see the triangles too much, I guess. It's hard to describe. It's almost like it's like it made it to the uncanny valley, basically. This like there's something you can't quite put your finger on. Like, why is this off? I don't understand. I feel like that is what's going on with that, is that they're like on the cusp of being realistic, but since it's not quite there, it like sits in this weird valley where it just something off about it. Let's see. I'm trying to find there's so many videos now, like a mix of people hyping on Starfield or trashing it. So like searching for Starfield, and the first video is gaming's next big disaster. Every time I watch people's video, like bad mouthing videos of the Bethesda games, they're always like comparing it to modern games and like forgetting about how they felt playing most Bethesda RPGs, or they didn't. Maybe they didn't give them a chance. And so I'm just like not worried about that stuff at all. Call me a fanboy if you must. That's let me see here. Yeah, here's how the Starfield gameplay reveal tricked your brain. Why can't I find? Let's see. I want the Starfield story trailer. Here we go. Alright, so first up, let's bring this up and see if you guys can even see this. Yeah, of course not. Let's see. Display capture.
Of space explorers. To meet them, you'll head to the capital city of New Atlantis.
Alright, let me see how do I get this over? So my, there we go. Okay, because it was higher in the queue, that's why. Alright, so we'll full screen this guy. There we go, now you guys can see. Okay, so the question is, can you guys hear Starfield? Alright, so I just want to jump ahead to, I think it was like the main woman that was talking, that was giving you a bunch of story beats. Her. Yeah, there she goes. There was something off about her face animation.
You will be part of solving that puzzle now.
Yeah, just something just doesn't quite look right, and it's almost like you can see, maybe it's like you can see like little joints and stuff in her face. Like it looks so smooth, like in a still frame, looks fantastic, but there's just like there's something a little bit off. Like I said, it just gave me vibes of like, oh, we're just in Uncanny Valley territory where it's hard to describe what's janky, but something about it isn't very realistic. And this is a little nitpicky stuff. I don't even know how that came up. I think it's, oh yeah, did you notice this, the NPCs were cross-eyed? Yeah, and they do seem to be looking, let's bring that back up again. Are they cross-eyed? I definitely remember just thinking that there's something, yeah, I don't know if it's cross-eyed, but maybe it's just like the lighting reflections in her eyes are making it hard to tell where she's looking. It's also possible because like they may have cut in closer, like for the trailer, to get, because they don't have the HUD. Like maybe they cut these a little bit tighter, or they filmed it at higher res and then cut down so you see more of the face. Like this seems intense. Like this is like Oblivion intense, maybe even more than Oblivion. Like this is like right up in your grill for conversation. So I don't know if this is how it's actually going to feel in game, or if that's just for the trailer. Let's see, Ageo Comics. I watched one of their level world designers on Twitch. He said the team's current goal is to finish the project by then. Oh, you're talking about Sky Oblivion. That's amazing. I hope they pull it off. They've shown some really impressive stuff. It looks gorgeous. FO4 starts 9/1/2278. Starfield on 1/1/2300. Yeah, so a little long for Jake to be alive still, unless he freezes himself. Let's see here. You are nuts, King Gath. I don't know what I said at the time that made you say that, because I'm way behind in chat as always. Not crazy. Yep, you just confirmed Starfield is about the Enclave after the bombs. Nick Carter, will there be an update on Friday? No, we're still, so patches are on hold right now while I finish up what we're calling the HQ 2.0 update. It's going to be our biggest Chapter 2 patch to date. It's going to add a ton of new content to HQ. Including like some of the core functionality of like what some of the departments were supposed to do. And then it'll have, you know, general like other bug fixes. Like another thing we've spent a lot of time on is the caravan services code, because I know a lot of people feel like it gets broken on them, or it's, you know, unclear how it works. We also are, it's not going to make it into the next patch, but we are working on a new map system to show off the map, you know, like the radiuses of different networks and stuff like that, and show off more information. We've got the technology now to do our own custom map, which will be pretty cool. It's going to take a while, and we're just gonna, like, we've got real basics of it in the game working, and we're starting to figure out some of the other problems. Like one of the problems we had was, how do we get the information of what map markers the player knows about onto the map, so that the map just doesn't have a bunch of static map markers on it. And we've kind of figured out a solution for that, and I was just discussing it with Ono this morning about, or this afternoon, about what the next steps are on that. That's something I want to take a look at hopefully tomorrow. Let's see. Canuck82, the first Fallout 4 Rex I found is Project Cyberdog's Rex Dog Meat Replacer. Yeah, that sounds right. The Rex Dog Meat Replacer. Oscar Fry, know what we need is SS2. Need an SS2 is 4 optional files that give Aiden and Jake both normal and cringy romance options. Mod Hunter 42, mute their vid. Oh, so I don't get copyright striked. Usually, so far, when I have had copyright strike things with Bethesda, I just have been able to email a contact there, and they take it away. So I'm not really worried about that. For whatever reason, the reason I always worry about the songs on the radios is because those songs are technically owned by like Sony and, you know, other big music labels that are not. I don't have a contact for to get the strike removed. Beowulf, do you think that we can change the transport and supply line system to like vertibird or some other transport instead of the Brahmin? So that's one of those things that I've had on my like wish list for, because that would actually be technically a workshop framework thing, because Sim Settlements doesn't actually send Brahmin between your settlements. That's a vanilla thing. For Sim Settlements, the Brahmin just sit in your caravan services thing, and then if you want your NPCs to leave the settlement, it's not with the supply lines, it's with the beacon system. They'll actually make them leave. As far as that in Workshop Framework, it's been one of the things where it's low priority because it's just flavor only, and I'm working on so many other things. So maybe one day I'll get that in, or if somebody figures it out and submits a build to Workshop Framework, I'll look it over and I can merge it in. Workshop Framework for any programmers is fully open, not open source in the sense that you can just take all the code and re-release your own version, but in the sense that the code is out there for you to look through, and you know, if you want to post a merge request or some code for me to look at, I'm open to it for sure. John Geddes, try finding one by Degenerate Dak or Juicehead. Their videos are usually pretty good. Oh, I watched a lot of positive videos too. I just find it funny that and it makes sense. Like somebody pointed out, I was watching, I don't know if you guys ever watch anything by Bellular. He was a big World of Warcraft YouTuber, and now has moved into other game spaces. Was talking about how like PC Gamer's website now has taken on, they have editors write negative and positive pieces about most games now, because there's usually some people who hate a game and then some people who like it, and that's kind of the same thing that happens on YouTube. Is like there's an audience for both sides. There's some people who saw who just hate Bethesda so much, or who are so cynical about what they saw in Starfield, they want other people to like agree with them, and so there's going to be video content on both sides, and that's fine. I just find it interesting to read when I see like big gaming sites who are so cynical about it that it's funny to me, because it's like, really, you guys, I know you guys have played through Bethesda games, and you know that despite, you know, like I think one of the criticisms that gets leveled against the Starfield stuff we've seen so far, obviously, is the Thousand Planets obviously is concerning, but the gameplay, or the gunplay rather, of like, oh, it looks all floaty and soft. It's like, oh, the gameplay or the fighting mechanics in Bethesda's games have never been their strong suit, but that doesn't matter. It's serviceable. What's like the charm of the Bethesda games is the exploration and uncovering stories, and like, you know, meeting NPCs and stuff, and that they know how to do that. They're good at it. Even 76 did a good job of it once they finally were smart enough to put it in the game. I like what's his name, the YouTuber Camel, I think that's his username, just put out a video, his breakdown on Starfield, and I like his take of thinking about the 1,000 planets as each like a dungeon. Like, even though they're not going to obviously they're not going to all be full of handcrafted content, like that's not feasible. That would cost too much money. But even if each of them had like one hand-built location, like that's feasible. Like for the Bethesda have done like 1,000 little mini dungeons and like, just stuck one cave on each place, or one hand-built interesting thing. Or they could they always do a random encounter system. In every game, the random encounter system has gotten more dynamic. Like, obviously, we ran into some earlier in the stream, but the Fallout 4 one's actually pretty good about the random encounters that can happen. And, what if they came up with a way to, like, add really big, expansive random encounters in their planets, since the planets are more procedural, that you might get some really interesting experiences that way. So that made me feel less awful about the 1,000 planets, that it's not really about... Like, if they would just stop using that stuff in marketing materials, like the 76 thing, like that's 4 times the size of Fallout 4. I'm like, you're every time they start bragging scale, I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they're always then asking, like, some players are getting overhyped on it, and then you're going to underdeliver on your promise. And then other people are going to like rake you over the coals for it and give you bad reviews. So I think it's just not worth hyping the scope like that. Just let people discover that. Be like, if we just thought there's lots of, if they just said there's dozens of systems you can explore, and then people started doing the math after it came out, like there's over 1,000 planets, and people will be losing their minds, and then there wouldn't be as much negativity around that. Jason Locrantz, I wish other games had the jank, glitches, bugs, etc. that every Bethesda game has. It makes them far more charming, memorable than a more polished game. Yeah, it's always fun to have like the moments in like Skyrim with the giant launching you to the moon, like stuff like that is always really funny and great memories. And that's just systems bashing together where they don't put in extra catches, and that just comes from them not having enough money to QA these games properly, which is understandable. There's so much that can happen in these games, so many things that can go wrong that they would need to test if they're going to have these open-ended games. And you can see like Bethesda always is bragging about how small their team is compared to the rest of the industry, which I'm down with that. Like I would probably, if I had a big studio, I would want the same thing. I would want it to be operate smaller, like not be all bureaucratic and super structured, because it would I don't know. I do not operate well in the corporate space. That is not my jam. I do not fit in that environment. So I can see why Bethesda would be fighting it and trying to keep themselves running a little scrappier. Alec Campbell, super excited for HQ update. Any sneak peeks before it comes out? There have been a lot of sneak peeks for patrons at the so if you join the Patreon, you can grab some sneak peeks. Otherwise, I've talked about it pretty openly about some of the stuff that's coming. There's going to be like missions for you to send some of your department staff on. The admin and security departments are going to have a much bigger role, so that they're not, right now in the current incarnation HQ, those two departments are effectively useless. Logistics is barely useful because of supply agreements. They're going to have a bigger role. Engineering will have some more interesting things. Facilities is, I think, the one department we fleshed out pretty full. Like, there's tons of cleaning and construction you can do. We are going to go through and finish the rest of the repairs. I'm sure you guys noticed you can repair like some of the broken floors and walls, but not all of them. And like, I think we finally covered all those in the betas. But mostly it's about like adding tons of new projects for your HQ staff to do, so that you have things you're excited about getting access to, instead of like, it's fun but like right now in HQ, once you finish the building part of it, there's not really much to do in there other than researching the diseases, which is kind of like it's one of those that was always meant to be kind of like something passive you would do. Like, you would just kind of, when you ran out of current research projects for the science department to do, you would like, all right, fall back, let's go get back to working on medical stuff. That was supposed to be kind of their fallback system to be working on, and like they never actually got the tech stuff that we envisioned. The other thing that was going to come with the HQ update is I'm going to make an effort to either have it available on the day of the HQ update release or right away, like within the first week after, or week or two after, is the documentation for the community to add their own HQ content. Because just like Sim Settlements only shipped with, you know, so many building plans for each plot type, HQ is only going to have so many projects of each type for each department, because we're, you know, pretty small team. So we only have so much time to put into it. And the whole system was designed to be very open-ended so modders could inject their own content into it. So I'd love to see, you know, what the goal of the HQ 2.0 update is, to take all of the department functionality. Every department has 3 or 4 like subcategories of things they're in charge of, and for you guys, you've probably only seen 1 or 2 for most departments. And so we put in, you know, made sure to put some in interesting projects under every category to ship with for the patch, so that add-on pack authors will hopefully be inspired, or some of you maybe who have never done add-ons will be inspired to go dig into the new tutorials and start adding your own ideas to it. One of my dreams for HQ was to have a system that I saw in Starfield, actually, which was really exciting. The Starfield showed, I'll bring that back up, a research system that where you could research the like weapon mods and stuff. Let's see here. Is this the video? Starfield, yeah, the 15-minute thing. Let's see if we can find it. I'm gonna mute this. No, that's the. Where is this? I don't have timestamps and everything, but I'm hoping I can just catch it in a scrub. But anyway, they've got like a research system that looks like you do in your bases to make it so that you could research like new weapon mods and stuff. It's like, I thought that'd be an awesome way for some of the, especially the more high-tech things you can get from mods that, okay, here it is. Some of the more high-tech things you can get from mods in, not mods like mods on your weapons, but like mods you download from Nexus, is that some of them feel out of place, but could feel in-universe believable if you had to have like scientists doing research on them. So this system right here, and they've got the same kind of thing going on of like, you know, you do these resource projects. I was like, oh my god, this is like a little baby version of what we're doing with HQ. That's kind of like one of the things I thought could be a really awesome mod, like intermod thing somebody could easily do, would be take a bunch of mods from the Fallout 4 community and take them and lock them behind the HQ system, instead of, you know, a lot of mods just hand you their stuff, or you know, just put it like just outside a sanctuary somewhere, which is like super OP. I mean, even some of the Creation Club content does that too. There's like one Creation Club thing where it's like right over there, like just past that hill a little ways, like halfway to Ten Pines, and you get this like insane weapon where that's just super busted, and it could feel better as something, and feel earned and feel immersive if you had scientists researching it. Like that to me was one of the cool ideas with HQ that I would love to see community do. But yeah, so if you love HQ and you want to add to it, my tutorial, I've gotten a reputation for writing really good tutorials that anybody can follow. So hopefully that will continue. That trend will continue with HQ tutorials. No trick. Is Jake a synth? Yeah, I guess that could be another way that Jake could end up in Starfield. You forget, King Yeth, we have aliens in Fallout. Jake could get abducted, and we have to save him in Starfield before the probing begins. Coach WI, freezing Jake, Aiden, character NPC back in Vault 111 and throw them out. Oh, that, yeah, you had called me crazy earlier. Yeah, of course it would be. There's no, like, the Fallout universe is definitely too silly to fit in Starfield. Like, it's just, you know, and I love Starfield. Or I mean, I love Fallout 4's humor, and I love that it wouldn't fit in there. I'm glad they chose a different tone and they didn't just make it Fallout's in space. So yeah, so the dreams of Jake in space are probably pretty slim. I mean, it's not to say, like, if we did get into quest modding Starfield, like, there's no reason we would stop working with the voice actors we work with currently, other than some of them are going to go pro. But, like, you know, maybe Tom would want to do a new character with us in a Starfield mod. Who knows? Not crazy. I know everyone loves Jake, but if you continue into Starfield, you need to keep Aiden as a returning character in all your mods. That'll all depend on. Well, we won't do that. It won't be Aiden, but again, the voice actor, like obviously River can do that voice for a new character, like easily enough. I would imagine that even though we love our characters and everything, Sarek and the other writers on the team would love an opportunity to like take everything they've learned and try something new. To be like, especially Sarek, to be like, okay, I like have learned so much in that I did in this Fallout 4 mod where I could do so much better from blank slate. Maybe not. Maybe I'm talking out my arse and he's burnt out from all this and is barely surviving right now. I don't know. I personally am very excited about playing in a new sandbox. Again, I'm not even talking about modding, but modding as well. It will be fun to take a breather from Fallout 4, play another game, and then maybe mod it. We'll see. So hey, what are your thoughts on Starfield combat and spaceflight? The gunplay combat, it looked fine. It looked like Fallout 4 is basically Fallout 4 with less blood. It looked like there was no blood, in fact, which fine, that's okay. It gave me Destiny vibes, and I love Destiny. Didn't play Destiny 2, and I wasn't into the grinding, but I just loved I just had a great time playing Destiny. It felt like a great game. It's a very solid shooter, and that's what I got vibes of Starfield from that. So that to me is a plus. Like that was one of the few games that pulled me away from Bethesda games for a period of my life. It was actually, I think Destiny is what broke my World of Warcraft addiction. So like that to me was all positive. And then the space flight looks totally decent. I never have been into I've never really loved dogfighting games, and I've never really loved space sim like I've played Elite Dangerous, and there was another one I played in VR. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I just never really got into that kind of space combat, and I'm hoping that Bethesda streamlined it enough where I'll find it interesting, because to me that's one of those things, like unless they come up with a way to make it something more my style, that'll be one of those things where I find a way to mod it, of like make your crew members your gunners. You don't even have to fight anymore. Just your crew members take care of that for you. Like that. There's a mod idea of, I'm gonna mod away the parts of the game I don't like. Yogi, I hope setting up patrols from Conqueror is something you've determined you can keep into Portrait. Absolutely, yeah, that 100%. That's one of my favorite parts of, I think you've said that as well. That's one of the best parts of Conqueror, was setting up the patrols. So you see your soldiers wandering down the road and stuff between your settlements. That's really, really fun. Yeah, 100% that's making it in. 100%. In fact, technically, with HQ, the HQ system, the code that we've got in there already, but it's getting way improved for 2.0. Technically, somebody could set up the Conqueror style patrols with the HQ system, even outside HQ. And without any coding. The whole AI system we have for HQ is like a bunch of properties you set up in the CK. Doesn't require any programming. Doesn't require fully understanding the AI. You just and you don't even have to pick the points. You can just be like, tell it to give the player a menu of 2 settlements, and then have them march between it. And I'm not going to say it just works. I'm not going to go Todd Howard style. I'm certain there are some quirks in it I'll have to sort out, but it is one of the systems I'm very proud of in the HQ code, because I love. And I spend a lot of the time over engineering stuff in some settlements to make sure that other people can use it too. Not just people on the team who don't have coding experience, but like any of you guys who wants to release mods. I want to expose, if we put all this effort into the code, let's put a little bit more effort in and make it so that you guys can get a lot of power without having to go in and code too. A1 Racer, their settlements look kind of like they ripped off SS2. I mean, I hope they did. I didn't get that vibe. To me, it looked like, a lot of other space games have their building systems. It kind of gave me vibes of like the lab building in Subnautica, like where like all the pieces are kind of connected together. I love that we get third-person build mode. That's insane. Like isometric style. Let's bring that back up. Let's see if that is that in this video. I'm pretty sure it is. The thing I was bummed about seeing with the build mode was there was clearly a build limit bar, which is like they still haven't solved that problem in their engine. And there really is no solving that. Like the way you solve that is to go to do something like Minecraft, right? Like where it's voxel based, and then you don't have to worry about that. But like every game engine is going to have some sort of limit because it's building unlimited. Oh, the shipbuilding is so cool. Where is the base building thing? So yeah, that was one of the things I was bummed about, of like, oh, you got all these giant empty planets, which should have no problem with FPS because there's nothing else around, and yet they still got a build limit bar. Hopefully it'll be like such a significant build limit that it won't feel like much of one. You know, like it'll prevent you from building a sprawling city, but still let you do some pretty awesome stuff. Also, I would think because the game is, you know, going somewhat realistic with their texturing and stuff. Oh, there it was. That everything being kind of these, you know, drabber colors and stuff, that they're able to use fewer textures, and then they can reduce the draw calls. So basically, for the less textures you have, the more build limit you can kind of have. Like the build limit we run into in Fallout 4 is a texture limit, not a polygon limit. So like this looks awesome in the sense of the view. Like I love going isometric. That would be one of those dream features to add to Workshop Framework or SS2 at some point if we could. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that the requirement for that would require F4SE support, and there's not a lot of people operating in that space right now, making custom plugins. There's not a lot of people doing it, and those who are doing it have their own things they're chasing. But like that to me would be one of those dream features to add in, so that's really cool to see that. I also looks to me like I didn't see any power lines, so hopefully they have fixed the power grid corruption and they've eliminated that. And now I actually think power lines were really cool in Fallout 4. I think they give you a nice janky feel, which is, you know, that's Fallout 4 is, the Fallout aesthetic is all about, things being jury-rigged and kind of janky. The power lines help with that. Having those drooping all over the place makes things look a little messier. But I like this. What it appears that they're doing here is just like it's just a flat, you either have enough power or you don't type of thing, right? It's more like the food meter or the defense meter, which means we won't have weird grid corruption, which is awesome. I'm really curious if they've done anything to what they've done about nav mesh. What if they got about NPCs running around here? Like we don't see a bunch of settlers, right? Like we see there's like this little bit up ahead where they show, you know, you see this shot, there's no NPCs wandering around, right? You got this nice little base here. And then you got like one person working in there. So is this more like Fallout 76 camps where you've just got one person and then you just like leave that one person by themselves? Because I would think it would have been like in their ship, they show screenshots of a whole bunch of people. Here you just see this one person. So like that, I would love to see if it was more like Sim Settlements in the sense of like giving a whole bunch of people a purpose at these outposts. And then I also want to know is, can we have unlimited outposts? Can we just go build these on all 1,000 planets? That I would like to know. But to me, this, no matter what, even if they didn't do all that, if all it is you get one person per settlement and they just man things, well, we can mod that. We can mod the crap out of that. We can add in also, we can up the limit. We can allow dozens of people to be there. That will be super easy to do. But like just this, if they just took the Fallout 4 system almost verbatim and just added in isometric view and got rid of the some of the extra needs like food, water, and also there's a crew meter. There's crew though here, so 0 crew. So you definitely can have multiple people. They wouldn't show, like, it's weird to me that they didn't show a bunch of people wandering around, but maybe they did that intentionally to not draw parallels to Fallout 4, because while we all love the settlement system, it's definitely one of those systems that a lot of people panned about Fallout 4. I thought that it was, talked about how it was optional content that felt bad to a lot of people, which I don't understand. I don't like it is optional. I think it was kind of like when you're going around the game world looking for places to explore, and you find a settlement instead of like a cool new quest, that feels, if you're not into settlements, it feels like that was a non-location. So I can kind of get that argument. You know, it was, for me in 76, it was like I'd find, whenever I stumbled across the workshops in there, they felt like a non-location, because it was like, I'm not going to engage in the PvP side of that, so this location is just wasted to me. So I think that's where people are coming from who didn't like the settlements in Fallout 4, but so maybe they were trying not to draw parallels to that by not showing off a busy place here. So I don't think it feels like SS2, but it looks to me like the building blocks we would need to make a cool settlement, like, you know, like a Sim Settlements like system, are there. Oh man, I'm so far behind on chat. I'm sorry, guys. Beowulf, do you think anyone will fill empty ocean in Fallout 4? Like, if you check maps of Boston, there are many small islands that Bethesda let up Fallout 4 from the harbor and ocean. No, I don't think so. I think Fallout 4 did not draw in nearly the modding scene that like New Vegas did or Skyrim did. Fallout 4 definitely has a smaller, it's a smaller pool of ambitious mod authors. There's a handful of big projects, but those projects tend to not be completed in any game. So those ones are not the ones we'd be looking for. I would say it's more like mod authors like Monkey Spunk, who did the Fens Sheriff Department, what's the diner that's in, I can't think, I'm sorry, Monkey, I'm forgetting the name of all your mods. But like people like that who will just like, or like Thuggy Smurf, for those of you guys who are into his mods, like we don't have a lot of those guys, like the guys who actually will just churn out a bunch of quest content all the time. And like those are the folks that would do something like that. And we don't have a ton of those guys in the Fallout 4 modding scene. There's a few of them, but not nearly as many as like New Vegas or Skyrim has. Not crazy. So can we start a GoFundMe so the SS2 team can get a license from Bethesda Microsoft to make their own Fallout game? Could be that much. Yeah, no, that will never happen. There is no amount of money we could probably pay them to do that. It would have to be our own game from scratch, and I think I've talked about that on stream, that I don't know how realistic that is. Like competing in like the expectations everybody has now for our games, like building one of those from scratch is daunting. Though it's got some parts of it'll get easier, like with like some of the AI generation tools that are coming out. Like, have you guys seen DALL-E 2? I think that's how you say it. Let me find some clips of this. DALL-E 2 is going to change it's going to change so much. Like the power it gives people is just nutty. Some of the AI generation that this can do, it's going to put most concept artists out of business. So I'm going to just show you guys like an example image of something that this AI generated. Look at this. Mad scientist teddy bears. Look at this. This is what somebody typed this into DALL-E 2. Teddy bears mixing sparking chemicals as mad scientist steampunk. And the AI generated this pixel by pixel from scratch. That is insane. That looks like somebody actually set up stuffed animals and did that. And this is like, this is nuts. So stuff like the fact that stuff like this is happening will make independent development, the quality is going to be so high, but that also means that AAA development is going to start setting the bar so unbelievably high that it's going to be like impossible to compete on that stage. And like, so that is yeah, that's concerning only from the thought of like, well, I don't want to make like janky garbage. Like I want to make, like, we're already making janky garbage. I want to make good stuff. And then it's like, you know, you talk about a GoFundMe or something. It's like, can we make something good enough to where people feel like they got their money's worth? And you know, then you look at free to play stuff that's out there, or you know, games that came out that are crazy massive in scope that technically were indie teams, and it's like, that's hard to fathom how that gets done. So like I think I'm at a point of I need to go learn more before I could commit to that, because right now that seems like an impossible challenge. So clearly I don't know enough, because there's teams doing it. So, but yeah, won't be the Fallout license. There's no way in hell. 2500 PRC. Is it possible for a global plot type outfit override? I mean, you can turn off that. There's not anything set up like that right now. No. You could turn off that the outfit feature if that's something you want to do. But if you're talking about like you know, set up a container where you drop in items and then it puts everybody on agriculture plots in that, no, there's nothing like that right now. It could be doable. It's just not something that I've thought about putting in the code. We are going to do something like that for HQ at some point, of like having outfits for departments. That will be something we will add. I don't know what form it's going to come in yet, but something like that is coming. Probably in 3.0, in the 3.0 patch, which will be with the Chapter 3 release. Abduleo, Starfield is very likely a completely different universe than Fallout. If there is a new Jake in Sim Colonies, it would just be the Jake of that universe. Yeah, it's definitely it's absolutely a different universe. And there won't be a Jake in there. It would be, if the closest I could see you getting to a Jake in there is if we were to get into modding there. You know, there's a very good chance Sir Rick would be writing again, and then, you know, it would be a good chance that Tom would want to do a voice character for us again. So, yeah, it wouldn't be Jake. It would be some new character that happened to be voiced by Jake's voice actor. Not crazy. How about King Gath's first mod for Starfield will be Cola walking around your ship as a pet? Oh yeah, dogs there. Unfortunately, that's not in my wheelhouse. Like the Cola was created by Fried Turkey, who now works for the new Fallout 76 team at the Double 11 gaming studio. So I am not a 3D modeler. I don't know how to do that stuff. So that would not be my first mod for sure. But I'd love it. I would love to have little Cola with me in Starfield. Like, if there's a very good chance I either commission it or hopefully have a friend who knows how to do it to move Cola into Starfield for me, just because Cola is based off of my actual real life dog. So I would love to have my little buddy in the game with me, especially because, you know, eventually the dog's going to pass, and it'll be nice to have a permanent, like, Cola is going to mean so much more to me in, you know, I don't know how long, like, this breed probably lives for 13, 14 years. I think the dog's 6. So like in 8 to 10 years, when inevitably my poor little puppy dies, oh man, Cola's gonna be near and dear to me. I'm gonna want to keep that. I'm gonna get that little model ported forward to every single game I play. But yeah, Wolf, when they make Fallout 5, where do you want it to play out? I don't know. I'd like to see if it depends on. I think it depends on the tech level of the creation engine going forward. Like, I would like, New York, I think they've talked about. That would be really cool, just to see them do like an actual real big downtown with more modern hardware. Like, you know, imagine like the Spider-Man's downtown New York, but destroyed post-war. Like, that could be really awesome. But though I do kind of like the mix of that they do in the Fallout games of having, you know, some forests and some mountain ranges, and like not just a whole city. But honestly, the place I would want most, I think, would probably be somewhere in the Midwest, like Detroit or Chicago or something like that, just because I grew up in the Midwest. So it would be fun to go to cities that I've been to. And like they've, you know, both of those, and like Chicago, I think, is where the Brotherhood is supposed to be centered at. So that could be an awesome place for them to do. I think that area of the country is where the Brotherhood of Steel tactical game was at. Does anybody remember? And we were just talking about that when I was talking to Pilladog last week about Fallout. We got into a little talk about Fallout Tactics of that. So that would be an awesome place. So I think, you know, a Midwestern city would be cool. Like any city that I've spent a lot of time in, I would love. Like I've been to most of the big cities in the East Coast. Like I've been to Boston, I've been to New York, and been to DC. But I haven't spent a ton of time in any of them. But I've spent a lot of time in some of the big towns in the Midwest, like Cleveland and Detroit and Chicago. So it would be cool to see like what did they decide was worth keeping versus what would get pared down, because you obviously can't do 1-for-1 scale. It'd be really boring. Shortwind, any information they are using as new scripting language for Starfield is going to be more open and powerful than Fallout 4. My gut says they're not going to change the scripting language. The scripting language in Fallout 4 is incredibly powerful. It's really, really powerful. It has very few limitations, and most of the limitations we figured out workarounds for. Like the there's a couple of things still missing from it, but it's easy for them to add more. So one of the nice things that's happened throughout the evolution of the creation engine is Papyrus keeps getting stronger and keeps getting more stuff exposed to it. And for the most part, once they add something, they haven't taken it away again in future games. So you get access to that forever. So my reaction is, or my gut reaction is that it's going to be Papyrus, but we're going to have a lot more stuff exposed from the engine than we ever did before. Triforce Jedi, thank you for the donation. Triforce says, thanks for all you guys do, and thanks for helping out a newbie add-on author on Discord. Triforce, did you figure out the tiny window issue on Xedit? Because I know you got stuck on that, and I couldn't, because I want to write down the solution for that, or pin it or something, because you aren't the first person to run into that. But I know, all I know is that it has nothing to do with our scripts. It's something quirky with the Xedit engine. Did you get it sorted? Discmaster Waves, hello. Quester WI, I am going to have to dig through a ton of boxes and storage and find my joystick I used for spaceflight and fighting I used in Star Wars Galaxy. I've never got into those joysticks, but there are some crazy ones. I don't know if that's a big, is that even a thing anymore? Like, can you go to like Best Buy and buy a flight joystick anymore? Or is that too niche of a product? I remember I worked at Best Buy for a few years. Well, maybe only a year and a half. Like back in my college days, and they always had them for sale there, and they had some crazy expensive, like big fancy ones. Like people who were into Flight Simulator would buy them. I never got into them. Should you want obligatory sim settlements for Starfield question? Yeah, we've been talking about kind of like we keep looping back to that. Like my only plan for Starfield right now is to play the hell out of it. I don't know about if it needs any modding from me. Like I would like to think that, and you know, the thing is, like, I don't even need to get credit, and I don't even need to claim that we've created anything particularly unique with sim settlements. I just want to see games with systems where you build and things happen without you. Like that to me is one of the big things that sim settlements offers. And I also want to see gameplay that impacts the world outside of just the enemies are dead now. So if Starfield delivers on some of those fronts, I'll be pretty damn happy. I think the outpost system and a bunch of empty planets though definitely leads itself, because like how cool would it be to be able to not just do like settlements with 30 people, but like populate the whole damn planet, right? Like, you know, like something that spanned over like 100, like almost like turn it into Stellaris, where it's like over, you know, you play it across centuries and like see things evolve. Like if you could add into Starfield, especially like, yeah, but it wouldn't work necessarily with what we know so far, but you know, there's alien artifacts and stuff that seem to have some sort of magical powers. What if, you know, you turn your character into a god and then you get to fast forward time and see, you know, you plant a few seeds on a planet, fast forward and see a bunch of evolution. Man, that would be insane. But yeah, definitely, I would say the enhancements to the engine make the possibility of something more 4X-like possible. But I think one of the charm, but that's not really the charm of sim settlements. Like I think the sim settlements is the trying to marry the first person RPG and like feeling like you are a character in the town, and seeing some and having some sim settlement, or I'm saying sim city like mechanics of like, you know, balancing out different different building classes and stuff like that, and having it change and evolve over time. Because really, like, Bethesda set the pace for this, right? Like, we didn't invent the settlement system. They came up with the food and water and defense and power idea, and we just kind of added on to that. So yeah, I have to figure out what the secret sauce is to sim settlements, but it definitely, I don't feel like sim settlements gameplay mechanics like just come out of Fallout 4 and transplant easily to another game or universe. It depends on what what's happening in the game, because like we tried to make it feel immersive, and we want it to feel at home in a first-person RPG, and so like the tone and feel of Starfield will determine what kind of gameplay like that makes sense in it. I'm not great at communicating the exactly what I think makes stuff like my mods work, which is why I usually just go make them. So it'll be like I have some kind of internal rules I follow when I'm making mechanics and designing stuff for some settlements, and like I don't know if I could have explained sim settlements as it ended up to people before I made it. I knew I had the vision up front, but I also, again, I don't think that it necessarily would translate as is to any other game. And obviously like art style wouldn't, but like even just if we just ripped the mechanics, I don't know that they would just automatically translate to another game. Like I don't think the mechanics as we have them and like the general the concepts of them would work in like Elder Scrolls. I think Elder Scrolls is a more established world, like not just in Skyrim but all of them, that it's a world that's all their worlds are kind of thriving and building up still, whereas the part of what made sim settlements work and settlements in general in Fallout 4 is that civilization, even though it's like climbing up, it's crawling out of the rubble, it seems to be kind of on a decline. Like everybody is hunkering down in like one or two cities, and they're constantly under assault from enemies. Like they are kind of collapsing, whereas in Elder Scrolls, like all these civilizations are they're growing. They're not there's things changing and happening in the world, and it's not like a dying civilization that you can come in and save. Whereas in Fallout 4 in particular, that was kind of the deal. The last survivors of the area are hunkered down in Good Neighbor and Diamond City, like they intentionally like trigger an attack of a bunch of super mutants to show you, and then you've got like them fearing the Institute. Like the Commonwealth is in rough shape when you come in, so having the player have a story where they go through and not even outside the story, even if we just talk Sim Settlements 1, having a bunch of mechanics to have the player try and rebuild the world just fit really well in the story environment of Fallout 4. Mod 142, can we make something good enough without the jank? You'd need a better engine. Well, that's the thing. I mean, like that's the thing. If I ever decide to go make my own game, it's not going to be in the Creation Engine. It's going to end up being in Unity or Unreal, like 100%. And right now, leaning toward Unreal because there are so many big studios going toward it that engine is going to be unbelievable with tutorials and engine enhancement availability and everything. But the one of the concerns with Unreal I have in like how far that engine is going to reach is that we're going to get a whole generation of games that are all very samey looking, because everyone's going to lean on the photogrammetry and like the asset packs and stuff that look photorealistic, where it's going to be hard for games to stand out anymore. And that would be a concern. And then also I've been told, I haven't done much in Unity, I've tinkered with it, but that for people who are programmers, that Unity is a more natural starting point than Unreal, because Unreal is definitely designed more for artists and designers versus Unity, which is more for coders, I guess. I can't confirm that. It's just what I've got from watching videos of people saying, should you pick Unity or Unreal? Choo-Choo1, there's also supposed to be an enclave base in Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. I think Chicago would be an awesome location for a Fallout game, but it seems to be they're not like well, it's hard to judge, right? They've only had 2 games, and they tended to be, they're both East Coast. I think what it is the same reason I answered a Midwestern city is why they're going to stay on East Coast, because Todd and friends are in Maryland. So they know the East Coast, and that's where they're going to be excited to build their game. They get to, they're making a game. They want to make something for themselves. I get that. And that's part of the thing I mentioned earlier about them operating like a scrappy company. That's another reason to do so, is like, if you're a smaller group, then you don't have to like take a national consensus of, your thousands of employees to see what you should build. You can just go build what you're passionate about. So, in their small little Maryland group of, I don't know, probably they probably have less than 200 people at that office. Most of them probably live up there. They all have probably plenty of towns they're in love with that they would love to see in Fallout, and they can just do that. Chuchu1, you think we get another Fallout game before FO5, since this is probably a decade away? I don't think so. I could see us getting more stuff in the IP, but it won't be first-person RPGs. Like, I could see now that Microsoft's buying it, like, they try and do, like, spin-off stuff that's different genres. Or, like, we get, maybe they'll finally release the Fallout Shelter that they have in China here, the one that lets you, that's a lot, like, bigger in scope. So I don't have any idea, or, like, maybe we'll get maybe they've been paying attention to some settlements and my talk of being a good building game. Maybe we get, like, a Fallout City Builder game. Like, that could be totally fun. There's already somebody's doing that. I think, I don't remember what company. There's a company out there that has one that's like a post-apocalyptic city builder that's probably in early access right now. Looked pretty interesting, but if somebody made a Fallout version of that, because Fallout's got brand recognition, it would instantly surpass that game. See, Diskmaster / reset in command line or Control Alt Shift on start to fix that. Oh, you're talking about to fix the tiny window in Xedit. Did that not work for you, Triforce? Quester WI, the one I had cost me $400. Best one out. Just want maybe more years ago. Looks like some words got screwy there. I see you're talking about joysticks still. Yeah, there's some. I remember there being really high-end joysticks available. They were never for me. I'm kind of an Xbox controller or die. I think that's my go-to. Beowulf, what factions do you want to see return in Fallout 5 and why? Really, to me, the only, like, the one faction that to me is like quintessential to Fallout is Brotherhood. I think the rest of them can come and go. Like, I don't like the continued pulling back the Enclave over and over again. I find that boring. I liked that they did Institute as the villain. I was bummed to see they brought Enclave back to 76. But I think Brotherhood just feels like such a cornerstone faction visually, and it's a very interesting faction, and it has a lot of sides to it. You've got groups who are. You've obviously got like the Maxon versus what's his name from Fallout 3 groups, Lions, and then like. They've had a different appearance in each of the games as far as like, or a different mindset in each of the games. And so I like them as just like a faction that is always there. But I think if you do that too much, then it starts to make your games feel bland and samey. I think Super Mutants are the same. I think Super Mutants are the enemy type. I feel like forever Bethesda is going to have every single Fallout game will have Brotherhood of Steel, Rad Roaches, and Super Mutants. I feel like that's kind of like that is their part of the brand. And that's fine. I think that's cool. I think you don't want to do too crazy with it, of always bringing the same things forward. Like, it's fun to have some nostalgia hits, but we also want a good amount of newness. And the stories would start to get tired if it's always the same enemies, right? Because their drive is always the same. Like the Enclave backstory and drive is always going to be the same. So having them be the same villain every time, blah. Or like I don't need Institute and Railroad again. Like I've seen their story play out. I've seen their drive and motivation, and it just wouldn't be interesting to play that story again. But I think Brotherhood works as a they don't need to be the key player. They can be a background player, like, or they can be, you know, like they were in New Vegas, where you just find them in like a bunker. So like they don't have to be a main character. They can still be there and have a presence, but they don't need to be the star of the show every time, which is nice. Whereas something like the Enclave, I feel like if they're showing up, they're probably like they're your villain. I know no one mentioned Enclave. I'm the one who brought it up, but the general point was like there's not a bunch of factions I feel like they need to carry over in the games, except for Brotherhood. Brotherhood just feels like that's just part of the brand. Connected to, I bought a joystick with Z-axes, I think, for Torso Twist for MechWarrior 4. MechWarrior is another one of those games I never could get into. Like, I love the idea of it. They're visually awesome. I like customizing the bots. Like, I like building them. But then I always get my butt kicked when I actually play. So, like, I feel like I never understood MechWarrior well enough. And that is something I'm hoping... And I feel the same way when I customize ships in Space Sims. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. There's too many options. I don't understand the mechanism. And I'm not excited enough to figure it out. I don't care enough about the nuance. It's just not something I'm excited about. And then I'm hoping Bethesda solves that for me, of like, you know, makes it so that the decisions I have to make about my ship are not as overwhelming, and that the combat is like fun and intuitive without me having to go in super deep to understand it. Like that was my Elite Dangerous experience. Was like I never knew if I was outgunned, and then like my ship was kind of just trying to balance like energy and weapons and everything. It was just, and I'm probably even using the wrong phrasing because that's how little I played Elite Dangerous. But any of those space combat games, I tend to not find particularly interesting. And I think it's the same reason I had trouble with MechWarrior. Is like there's either it's most of them to me don't have a good balance. It's either too much depth or not enough. It's either just too surface level, you know, like I loved Star Fox back in the day, but that didn't have a ton of depth to it. Like, so, you know, like going back and playing it doesn't really hook me. I mean, part of it is because the graphics are pretty rough. But that one didn't have a ton of depth in its ship gunplay. But then other games like Elite Dangerous have so much that I'm just overwhelmed with it. So some happy medium. I think Bethesda's usually pretty good about that. Like they have, since Skyrim, they have switched to like they are aiming for a pretty mainstream audience. So they streamline their systems pretty good. Not crazy. Other than the pride your team should be feeling, are they having any hard feelings being that they're closing in on the end of this awesome project? I don't know. I'm sure to some it's a little bittersweet. Others are like they're ready for the break of just because like we don't like we keep a pretty hard schedule and like expectations of like how much stuff we're gonna churn out. And so like there's definitely some people who just need to like rest and like to be like I don't want to create anything anymore for a while. So I think some of that there's some of that, but we're always gonna have, because we have so many ideas on paper that aren't gonna see the light of day, and like obviously, you know, a lot of we won't be working with some of the voice actors anymore, and like there's gonna be incomplete stories left. Like we love these characters like you guys do, so it's there's definitely some bittersweetness to it. So hey, what are your thoughts on 76 after that recent Kotaku article? It's not that didn't really shock me that much. Reading that, I was like, okay, this is all believable. It's to me like 76, like based on how everything went down with a whole bunch of things, like the fact that we know Fallout is going to basically, the franchise is going to be on ice until 2030 something. The fact that right after 76 came out, they sold to Microsoft. It's pretty clear why 76 happened. They needed something to preserve the Fallout brand and keep it in the limelight. Like they didn't know 76 was going to be a disaster launch. They wouldn't have released it if they knew that was going to happen. They had convinced themselves it wasn't. And they needed, you know, making it a live service for their brand made their brand more valuable. I'm sure, despite 76 problems, it got them more money out of Microsoft. So, like, you can see exactly why 76 happened. And then like seeing that people creatively were not interested, like that sucks. But you can, it was clear that like the higher ups beyond, above Todd forced 76 to happen because they needed to keep their brand relevant, which was that's smart to me. Like you can't let an IP sit for 15 years at a time. Like that's really stupid. I mean, you could probably do it once it's there are like sometimes we're seeing like they try and bring back with movies. Like they're bringing back older IPs. Sometimes they're doing good by them. Other times they're butchering them. Like new Dune, awesome. New Jurassic Park, awful. Like they're, you can, but if they had let the brand sit for too long, like Jurassic Park is a phenomenal movie. I think anybody who saw it when it first came out was just like blew our minds. And then, had they let the brand sit for 40 years or 50 years, like would anyone care anymore? Then it doesn't have any draw anymore. So like from a marketing standpoint, they got to keep their brands relevant. They got to keep pumping out games. And if Bethesda's not willing to let go of the license for their core game studio, they want to be the ones to create those games. Then they had to get it back in, just in the same way that like Elder Scrolls Online kind of preserves the Elder Scrolls brand while they futz around with Starfield and Fallout. So I get why it happened. That article was like, sad to see, but not particularly shocking. Abdullah, on an interview, it was revealed that Emma, the lead writer, was the one who really wanted it on the East Coast. Todd Howard wanted it on the West Coast. Interesting. Because I remember reading an article or watching an interview from Todd about when New Vegas was coming out and how there was mention of like, yeah, we're working on the East Coast, they're working on the West Coast, when referring to Obsidian working on New Vegas. So I always had assumed that it was like they wanted to keep it East Coast because it's in their neck of the woods. And like then they could build an evolving story. Like if they do Fallout, if they want to do what they did with Fallout 4 or Fallout 5 from the way they did Fallout 4 to Fallout 3 or Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, where there's like references and even some characters, my assumption would be they want to do that between Fallout 4 and Fallout 5 as well, because it gives you some nostalgia and it feels like you're building like an overarching story of sorts. And I would think they don't want to lose that, in the same way like, each Elder Scrolls game is set ahead of the previous one, and they might have, there's like references and stuff throughout there for players. I would think they want to keep that going, and the further it gets physically, the less realistic that is. Although, with 76, they clearly are willing to just say F it to the lore. Like having the Brotherhood and Enclave having major moments in West Virginia makes zero sense. And they just forced it anyway. And that's one of the things I'm talking about. You asked about what factions I want to see brought forward. Like one of the issues is like something like 76, they had to ham fist it just to keep their factions in there for nostalgia purposes, and it just feels bad and like bad writing. So it's hard to say what they would. I would think because of the way they put all those connections to Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, they want to do that again for Fallout 5. Maybe not. Maybe they'll put it in some random, because there's tons of interesting places that we could do it. Like we haven't had one in the South yet, which would have a very unique feel, and depending on where in the South, it could be dramatically different. Like a Fallout in Texas or Louisiana or Florida, like all of them would be substantially different, because those have very different like biomes, for lack of a better word, but also different ways of life in the US, so that you would have very different like different technology and different buildings to explore, different the people who would have come up from them, like maybe some of them would have preserved accents in the South. Like there's so many different things that might happen in those areas of the country that could be interesting. Exploring, there's got to be some areas that were not really affected, like where there's an area where there's no city that's been hit by a bomb, so to where like things have been a little more like mid-sized town, like where things have been more preserved. Like obviously you want to keep it near something, like they're probably always going to have them near a big city, because that's exciting to explore. Like it's exciting to explore New York City, but exploring Buffalo, New York, less exciting. Like so But that's a potential for a Fallout game of like what would it be like to do, you know, like to have a town that, or some areas that didn't get quite as ravaged, so you could see, you know, how did they deal with the fact that civilization ended all of a sudden. I don't know. And then I really like I'm really glad Fallout London exists, and even though it's not canon, it's still fun to see somebody experimenting with the idea of some of the outside America countries and how the Fallout how the Fallout story would have played out for them. I think though, if they were going to do it, I think China would be where they would do it, because there's lots of lore about the war and stuff, so they could play, you know, a lot of the comedy in Fallout, it comes from well, not a lot of it, but there is plenty of comedy about the extreme capitalism versus extreme communism and like that angle of things. Is that you could kind of invert those jokes by in China, in like a post-war China, showing that. But I think that the majority of the audience for the Fallout franchise is Western, so they probably won't do that, because it would be, maybe they will. I don't know. Hard to say. My gut says it'll always be in America from Bethesda, though. 78 Falcon, what is one thing you hope they don't bring back? For me, it would be NPC Preston asking you to help a settlement all the time. Well, obviously, I love settlements, so I disagree on that. I don't even know why. I don't even understand the hatred for Preston, other than it's a funny meme. Except for the people I mentioned earlier, where it was like, you know, for people who are just not interested in settlement gameplay and think of that as like a lost location, then Preston is reminding them of that and forcing it into their quest log. I personally love getting quests, and I think getting a settlement as a reward is insanely awesome. Like, that's such a great quest reward. So I don't mind Preston at all. What don't I love in Fallout 4? I don't want to see come back. I mean, obviously, I dedicate a lot of my time to this game, so that's going to be tough. I'm a big fan of this game. I think there's some engine limitations. I think the biggest thing that I dislike about the game, and from what we're doing and what I'm working on, is just some of the limitations in how much stuff the player can build. But we saw there's a build limit in Starfield, and I think pretty much every game that has building, there's always some sort of limit to it, because we're not there yet. I would say that is one of the things where Unreal Engine 5 has me excited. Like, with their virtualized geometry system, we do finally are in the territory where unlimited building would be possible. You know, it might be something where you've got to like periodically force the player to like leave the area so that you can regenerate everything, because it would be resource intensive to do it in real time, but we're also going to have, you know, better hardware over time, so then that might not be an issue. So yeah, I would say I can't think of anything offhand that I don't. I guess small thing would be I wish they would go back to power armor not just being everywhere, like having and not being handed to you within the first hour of the game. I think power armor being like the final reward was just like one of those staple parts of the franchise that was really cool, but it's now clear that's not the way they're going to go. Like, they gave it to you in Fallout 4, they gave it to you in 76, because it is one of those iconic and unique features of Fallout that they're kind of like stuck with as part of the brand. So that would be one of the little things I can think of. But I like a lot of the stuff people complain about. I like the settlements. I have no problem with Preston. I love the voiced protagonist. I'm actually bummed that we're not going to have one in Starfield, although I'll be fine with it. But like when I'm playing, I've been playing Skyrim again, and the thing I like the least is having to read through all my dialogue options. I don't want to do that. I just want the gist. Tell me the one-word summary. And maybe we'll get best of both worlds. Maybe they will have like one-word summaries on the dialogue selection menu, and then you could also but there'll be more after that. You know, like the first word will be highlighted, and it'll tell you like the gist. But if you look to the right of that, it'll be, you know, the rest of the text of what your character is going to say. I just want the gist. You know, am I saying a generally positive thing? Am I saying yes? Am I saying no? Is there a question option to get more information? Like, I want to hear what the NPC has to say, but I don't want to have to go read through all my options. I'm a impatient gamer due to lack of time. When I was when I first played through Skyrim back in 2011, like I had all the time in the world, so I wanted it to last forever. But now it's the opposite. Now I have less time, so it's like, hey, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Chushu1, what are you most excited for in Starfield? I think the shipbuilding and crew system. I love the idea of having a custom crew. Like, you know, imagine something like, to me, the game that Starfield most reminds me of is like on an overall, like not necessarily any one particular feature, but overall reminds me most of Mass Effect 1, which I have such great memories of. It was, like, in hindsight, the game, you know, has a lot of flaws to it. Like, it's, I think its combat system was pretty weak. I haven't played that game since it came out either, so I think, I maybe played it one more time when Mass Effect 2 came out, like right beforehand. But it gives me Mass Effect vibes. And I would love the idea of like taking the Normandy, but having like a full custom crew, you know, like imagine all the different, it's not just the companions you have there, but you get to choose which ones are, who's your engineer, and choose, you know, who's your co-pilot and all that, or making it so that the fact that you get to get a custom crew, what I'm hoping it is that there are hundreds of viable NPCs that have voice, kind of like what we've started to do with SS2 with all the recruitable settlers. I hope Bethesda did something like that. I hope they recognized how awesome that is to like recruit. And I think they have to have seen it from, like, those are a really popular feature in 76 of getting those like allies of like that at scale of like they did. There's like 6 or 7 settlers you can recruit in Fallout 4, and I think that was, I've mentioned this many times, I think that's such a huge missed opportunity, and I hope that they realize that too and go nuts with it in Starfield. It'd be awesome if all the people you could recruit to work as your crew on your outpost or in your ship are like named people with interesting things to say, and not just bland unnamed guy with repeated lines. I hope that's what they do. Like, you know, I have no problem with the red shirts in the background that, you know, make things feel more lively but don't have, you know, use repeated dialogue. I'm okay with those, but I want more of the custom named ones. That's why I hope that is what happens. But even if that isn't the case, just having like a starship you get to design and choose the crew, that sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful and very unique. It's not something we've seen in and it's all of this, like, we have those types of things in other games. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's not a mobile game, but it's an indie game. Is it FTL, I think? So there's like games where you get to do things like build a ship and have, oh man, my chat's all screwy now. But having it in a Bethesda game, like the same thing, like all of these things, like it's all of that stuff, all these new features, like the things like the space combat and the space flight and all these planets in a Bethesda game, because Bethesda games have a certain, they got a vibe to them. They've got a you know that there's going to be this, they're great single player, like you feel like you're alone and exploring, you're an explorer. And then like you get that, and then you get on top of that, you get these amazing game features. That's really, really awesome. All right, something is broken with my chat. Let me try popping it out and see if that fixes it, because I cannot scroll right now. Yeah, just like it ate a whole bunch of my chat for some reason. So I missed some of your guys' questions. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to have to just go with what I got here. So do you think eventually they'll just handwave FO76 lore as non-canon when we get to FO5? I don't know. Maybe, or it'll just be like, it's too old for it to matter, so they just won't come up. That's my guess, is they just don't mention it. Question UI, Nuka Disney World, where It's a Small World song is used to turn people into feral ghouls. Cat Nerd, BGS is still just smart enough to not touch the explosive time bomb that is China, I think. That's true. I think that like they can't even do a Fallout China because China has too much, you know, impact on business anymore. And they don't like their culture being touched by people from outside, so yeah, I could see that too. I could see it being like for business reasons they won't do it, especially now that Microsoft owns them. Like that is one of the places where it'll be really interesting to see Like if Bethesda games, and not just Bethesda, like Bethesda Studios games, but just Bethesda owned games in general, get safer. Like how do their games fit in the Microsoft portfolio? Like as far as like, are they going to end up getting toned and watered down, or does Microsoft just not care? You know, it's kind of like how when Disney buys up these brands, you know, it's like, what are they going to do with all these Fox properties? Like how is Disney going to have Deadpool exist in their portfolio? Like because they've got such the family look, and Microsoft, not necessarily a family company, but they, they're not known for doing like, anything particularly bold. So, they're more like they want to keep everything kind of fun and safe for everybody, middle of the road. So it'll be interesting to see if we start seeing that impact the stories and types of games that come out under their umbrella. Chichu1, what are your thoughts on being able to go back and visit the pit 200 years before the FO3 DLC? Like it could be fun, but I didn't care at all about that when I saw it in 76, because I know it's going to be super shallow. It's going to be like a small, super contained section of the world with effectively Radiant quests, or what would you call it, like arena style setups. Like it's going to be so gamey. It's not going to be fun. Like, stuff like going to the pit, the fun of that is exploring it, but like I've already seen with their design pattern for the expeditions that they're more like a mini game, and that's not what I want. I want to go explore a new space, and that's not what they're offering. Mount 142, but after you have all the settlements, Preston doesn't stop giving a quest or 3 at a time. Really? He doesn't? I've never noticed that. I probably just stay away from him after I've got all the settlements. Okay, Comics, my only issue with Vanilla Preston is that he hands an unlimited amount of Radiant quests to help out settlements. Oh, I get you. Oh, so it's like people will get kidnapped, or they'll tell you to go clear out some mutants. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, like unlimited Radiants in general, I have a problem with. I think we have a couple of them, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Now our rule is on the team, if you do Radiant, it has to lead to something. So like if you offer a Radiant quest, it better be like after you do it 10 times, then it unlocks some new story element or something, or gives the player some super reward. Like we don't want this like just grinding out mindlessly. Radiance is not fun. No trick. How about if they give us a menu option to block copyrighted music when streaming in Starfield? Yeah, that would be smart. I think that's most. I gotta imagine many games are starting to do that. Of like just make it easier for people to stream, because it'll make your game more popular, because then streamers don't have to worry about losing money to play your game. No check. Oh my god, the Firefly mods stuff will be awesome. Yeah, I think that Starfield definitely is going to have a ton of stuff to pull from for mods, like Firefly and Star Trek and Star Wars, The Expanse, Stargate. There's like so many fantastic sci-fi franchises that people are going to be putting out mods to port the stuff from Halo. Like there's already tons of Halo mods for Fallout 4. All that's going to feel way more at home in Starfield. So yeah, I think the modding scene for Starfield, if you're into other IPs, is going to be amazing. Beowulf, do you think you can move some settlements down into the metro in SS3? It makes sense that people build settlements down there to escape the Red Storm from Glowing Sea. Well, there's no talk of an SS3. If you're talking about Chapter 3, we're not really adding any settlements because of the edits it requires to the base game, and like that's just like a rule on the team, is we don't edit vanilla records because it increases our compatibility dramatically, so we don't have to do a bunch of patching. But yeah, I would agree with that. I think that was that was something they did in Metro, in the Metro series. That was really cool, having the people living in the subway tunnels. Do you think they will change the story in Fallout now and blame Russia for the Great War? No, I don't think they'll ever change the backstory. I don't think so. I think it would upset fans too much, and who like the core lore of it. I think they're actually going to retcon to say. I think what actually is going to turn out is that it it wasn't any of the countries that forced the wars. It was going to be the corporations, because like the general message of it, of the Fallout like undertone, is that extreme capitalism is what caused it. So I think it's going to turn out to be like all the big corporations that you hear about. You know, it'll be the Slocum Joes was responsible for the war, stuff like that. So you're on point for 76 The Pit. It's a small area that loops. It's sort of like a short amusement park ride. Hell, you even have to farm for a token-like thing to go to the pit. Yeah, that sounds awful. That sounds awful. I want to go, like, if they're going to do expeditions where we get, like, you know, like, imagine a world space, I don't know, like a quarter to the size of Far Harbor. Wouldn't be huge. It would be enough to have, like, you know, maybe 4 dungeons in it, and then some wilderness with some random little encounters. And those were expeditions. That'd be amazing. That would be awesome. But that's not what they're doing. So yeah, not interested in expeditions. Even though, like, the, you know, seeing the pit again would be some nostalgia, but not enough. Not with the way they're doing it in 76. Chuchuan, you ever think you will get real mods for 76 at this point? And if so, would you want to make SS76? No, I think that I think 70, like they've said, like Todd Howard's on record saying several times there will be mods for 76, but there's no sign of it right now. Obviously, like, a lot of people are going to be moving on to Starfield next. I don't know how they're going to do mods in 76 with the way they're handling everything else. Like, they're not doing custom player controlled servers other than being able to choose the like options in the worlds. I think 76 is just going to flounder, and maybe they'll do modding at some point, but it's always going to be kind of handicapped modding. So I don't, it doesn't seem to me that that's the direction they're going, but I didn't like 76 enough to want to mod it that much. Like, if I'm going to keep modding Fallout, I'll probably stick in Fallout 4 until another game in the Fallout franchise comes out. Otherwise, I don't know what it'll be, but yeah, 76. I guess the exception would be as if they opened up some sort of way to do paid modding. Maybe then I would do, you know, make a mod for 76 to make money to help fund the mods I really want to make and the games I really love. But I don't find 76 good enough to want to spend time on it. Whereas, like, you know, working on some settlements of Fallout 4, I love Fallout 4. I would still play this game vanilla. Like, I love this game. So I'm excited to mod it. I don't like modding 76. Meh. I don't know that sim settlements could exist in 76 because of engine limitations. Like, I think, like, we already melt save files for a lot of you guys, like, in the sense of, like, we make it, you know, you build enough stuff and you all of a sudden, some of you can't visit an area, or you go to an area and the FPS is terrible. You do that in a multiplayer scenario and that's not good. So we would have to tone it way back for 76, and I don't want to tone things back. I want to go bigger. I got ideas for bigger systems. More bots. All right, I'm going to answer whatever questions are left, and then I'm going to go to bed. It's 12:30 already. 78 Falcon. One thing I like about Fallout mods over Skyrim mods is that it wasn't so hard on the load order. Well, I think part of that is like the Fallout 4, the engine improvements are there would make modding a lot better. Like, Fallout 4 is a lot better at recovering saves if you remove a mod or if you change your load order, whereas the older, like, even Skyrim is not quite as forgiving with that. So you got to be a little more, your saves are going to be a little more sensitive in that regard. So that was one thing I think that helped with that. Kenner, isn't it great Bethesda made this cool GUI for you to test your mods in? HQ 2.0 close. Yes, it is very close. I have like a list of things I'm trying to accomplish for it, and right now I am finishing up the biggest piece of that, and then I'm going to get that to testers, and then the rest of the stuff that's coming in after I finish that part won't need nearly as much testing. My current hope is before the end of June, but I'm willing to delay if necessary, because, like, I want this to be a big exciting patch where some people are willing to, like, who had blown off or who had written off HQ are willing to give it another go. I want to make sure that it razzle dazzles. So I will delay this patch as long as necessary, because I think the mod's in pretty good state right now. Like SS2 and Chapter 2 are pretty stable. There's like a few CPD bugs, and like I know Alyssa's quest doesn't work in Conquered, but like the main quest line works really good right now. And there's not a lot of recurring bug reports. There's the bug reports that we have remaining are, a lot of them are nitpicky stuff, or stuff that could be better, but it's not the end of the world, or people have workarounds for it. So like I like this patch is going to be so big, it's going to end up inevitably creating a bunch of new bugs that I have to deal with. So like I feel like this has been a great time to have this big delay between patches, because we don't have any like super outstanding common issues that people are dealing with that we're delaying them getting the fixes for. Does Fallout 4 multiplayer interest you? I remember when 76 came out, and I did a short mini series called Let's Fix 76. One of the things that I realized is that the Bethesda formula is inherently single player. Like the feeling of being an explorer and like being able to play at your own pace and slowly move around and then take in everything only works when you're by yourself. Bringing other players along like changes the experience dramatically. So I think that like the two don't coexist. I think that having a co-op mode in these games, for some people who would like that on their first playthrough, and for other people on subsequent playthroughs, would be great. But I think the what 76 delivered does not interest me. No, I don't care for that. But yeah, like I can see it was really cool in 76 to like visit other people's really well-designed settlements and stuff. But because it was instant, it was like every time I loaded into the game, I got a new random 30 other players to play with. There was no like, the world didn't continue to, if it was like a thing where you always got to go in the same server and you'd see progress, like Minecraft, like you go onto Minecraft servers and there's perpetual progress, that I'd be interested in a Fallout 4. Like we already know, like the tech doesn't exist, and it wouldn't be fun if it was like a like a public style Minecraft server is not particularly great, because those end up being, the changes are so dramatic every time you come back, or people are a-holes and blow up sections and stuff. Like that's not good. So like, yeah, like I don't know what the format of a multiplayer Fallout that I'd be interested in would look like. Like I don't want an MMO. Obviously I like to build things up. That's why I'm into settlements and like building up, and I like 4Xs and things. I like things where you get to build more and more progress over time. I feel like that itself is also at odds with multiplayer, because not every player can be on at the same time. So then, even if you play every night, there's people who play it during the day and then they change the experience. Or what if you take a week off? Well, then you're just edged out. I feel like the multiplayer games for the Bethesda experience don't mesh well. It doesn't work. That's what I've seen so far. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong, because I don't inherently hate multiplayer games. Like I said, I've played lots of MMOs. I loved Destiny, but to me, it seems like the Bethesda formula and the building game formula and the 4X formula, none of those work in a multiplayer format unless it's adversarial. Like, obviously RTSs. I love me a good StarCraft ladder match. Like that's a lot of fun, but it's not meant for big. You don't play StarCraft to build up over hundreds of hours. You build. You play for an hour in a long game. I just remember playing like 8-person LAN games where we would have like a turtle. Like we would no attack in the first 20 minutes rule, so that everybody could turtle up and build real big. Maybe the game lasts an hour, but your goal is to destroy each other, not to build up something epic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm interested in Fallout 4 multiplayer, because after experiencing 76, I just realized how much the charms of a Bethesda game and the things I love to do in games don't mesh with multiplayer. All right, last question I see up here. Oh my god, more of these damn bots. Hide user on channel. Hide user on channel. All right, last question I see here. Let's see, Beowulf. Can we get a character that is a synth in Chapter 3? There's lore on the Institute that say the Bureau is out hunting a special synth for some reason. It can be a fun story to have a small spy story. I have no idea. I think we already have, like some synth settlers. Like I know Darcinia is one. I think there's another one. So I think we've done minor things with synths. I actually had always hoped we would end up with a ghoul character or a super mutant character in our like core cast, like of the main quest. But I think because of voice acting concerns, we didn't, because it's a lot to ask voice actors. Like doing those ghoul voices will destroy some vocal cords. So I think we ended up not doing that because our voice acting manager Kobus advised we not, because it's pretty tough on them. Like we did a poll on our forums for people's favorite recruitable settlers, and the top one was Carne Assad, and he is literally the only voice actor from those settlers who refuses to come back because he said that doing that voice butchered his voice box. Like he wasn't able to talk correctly for a week after that. And he's an actor, so he can't have his voice out for a week. He'll lose his job. So, like I know ghoul voices are really, really tough on people's voices. So to have in our main characters, you know, like Lupe and obviously Jake and Aiden and stuff, like they have thousands of dialogue lines. So asking somebody to do a ghoul voice for that long was asking a lot. So I think that was where we were hoping to go, or that's what I would have hoped. We would have had a little more race variety in our characters. And I think the same thing with like robots, of like, not because it's hard to voice them, but because doing the processing is a lot of work to get them to sound like that. All right, guys, it is late for me. I am exhausted. Thank you all for tuning in tonight and chatting with me. We didn't talk a ton of Starfield. We talked enough. It was fun. It was therapeutic to talk about it because I've been so hyped about it. But like I got to talk about it a little bit with the team, but and my wife could care less about Starfield. She's not a gamer. Yeah, I mod so much. I don't even talk to friends in real life about it anymore. So it was fun to talk to you guys about it a little bit. And thank you everybody for donating. If I think I forgot to say it at the top, but just know that all that money goes in the pool to keep trying to make some settlements better, or to keep help funding the community stuff. But guys, I'm going to bed. I will catch you next Wednesday.